a national network news co-anchor. 215-263 WMMR. We'll go to Mary, see if she knows the answer. Hey, Mary, good morning.
Good morning.
Mary, who was the first female co-anchor of a national news network?
Baba Waba.
Baba Waba. Yeah. Barbara Walters. You got it. Correct. Mary, hang on, because you just got yourself a 4-pack of Fandango tickets to see Scream, starring David Arquette, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, and Roger L. Jackson. It is in theaters Friday, and I've got some news and entertainment report about that in just a moment. But we'll start with this. According to Betty White's death certificate, her cause of death was a stroke.
Okay.
The document reveals that she suffered from a cerebrovascular incident, which means that blood wasn't flowing to parts of her brain, causing tissue damage. Cerebrovascular accidents can be the result of blood clots or broken blood vessels in the brain. And the death certificate also shows that she experienced that stroke 6 days prior to her death. Sources tell TMZ that White was, quote, alert and coherent after the stroke and that she died peacefully in her sleep at home.
Well, you listen, I actually like hearing that. I would hate to think she was going through the throes of like a violent stroke when she died.
Yes, very much so. She passed away in her home less than 3 weeks before her 100th birthday. By the way, Betty White's celebration will hit theaters for a one-day-only event on the 17th, which is, of course, her birthday. In a joint statement released by stars John Stamos, Dave Coulier, Candace Cameron Bure, Jodie Sweetin, Lori Loughlin, Andrea Barber, Scott Wagner, and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, the Full House cast, says that they are grieving Bob Saget's death as a family.
Yeah.
They wrote, 35 years ago, we came together as a TV family, but we became a real family. And now we grieve as a real family. They released this statement on Instagram. They said, Bob made us laugh until we cried. Now our tears flow in sadness, but also with gratitude for all the beautiful memories of our sweet, kind, hilarious, cherished Bob. He was a brother to us, guys, a father to us, girls, and a friend to us, to all of us. Bob, we love you dearly. We ask in Bob's honor, hug the people you love. The people you love. No one gave better hugs than Bob.
You know, I mentioned yesterday, Preston, that both, I think you and I, it eluded us Full House. It was not quite in our, age range when it came out. But between yesterday and this morning and reviewing all the people who are giving him tributes and accolades, he really, that Danny Tanner figure was like a dad for a lot of people. And it meant something. I had no idea.
Steve, when you and I got into work this morning, I was watching this video from last night's Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy spoke about Bob for about 4.5 minutes, and he just was near tears with every word that he uttered, and it is clear how much and how kind Bob was to so many people, and what a positive impact he made.
Yep.
I totally forgot that he did the VO on How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
He was the older Ted Mosby, and so Josh Radnor wrote a really nice piece about him, too, how he was scared to act for Bob Saget, and Bob Saget said, you are amazing what you do. I'm going to watch you so that my character reflects your intuition. So it was really cool. I also saw a story from the lead singer of Guster.
Okay.
Who Bob Saget came on stage and I guess they were performing in Boston, saw that there's a sold out Bob Saget show down the street and was like, sent an invite over, will you come out and run through a banner? And they just put the banner up and through the encore played a song, and Bob Saget came running out, said hello, waved, and left the stage.
The statement was posted along with a group photo of the cast, except for the Olsen twins, who are not in the photo or on social media. The Olsen twins actually made a separate statement on Sunday as well. They said that Bob was the most loving, compassionate, and generous man. We're deeply saddened that he is no longer with us, but know that he will continue to be by our side to guide us as gracefully as he always has. And we're thinking of his daughters, wife, and family, and are sending our condolences. Of course, he passed away on Sunday, 65 years old. Cause of death is still unknown, but authorities said there was no evidence of drug use or foul play, but I would imagine there'll be a report in a few days about that.
I believe by the way, if you want to play it, I believe we do have that Jimmy Kimmel. It's very emotional when he's recounting his experiences with Bob.
Give me 1 second.
All right,
it's
it's not necessary. It's fine.
Just ahead of the 2022 premiere of Scream, Drew Barrymore reunited with the original Scream cast on her show on Monday. Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette all joined Barrymore to launch Scream Week. And she asked each of the actors how the iconic film changed their lives. Arquette said, well, we had a daughter out of it, and she's the greatest thing in my life. Speaking of Coco, the 17-year-old daughter that he shares with his ex, Courtney Cox. He said, that really is the most impactful thing that's ever happened to me in this business. Arquette and Cox met while filming Scream. They later married in 1999.
Do you know that Arquette now is getting into traditional clowning?
No.
Like he wants to become a performing clown.
No kidding.
Now listen, I guess the things in life he's enjoyed, he's embracing. He did wrestling, and now he's going to be a clown.
Nev Campbell said, I mean, this movie gave me everything. It was a springboard, I think, for all of us. Its success really helped me pave the way for all of our careers, and my life would be very, very different without Scream. And then Courtney Cox responded with a little humor saying, well, besides the obvious, I will not go to the bathroom in a movie theater or just about any sports arena. I always look underneath and prefer just not to go, and I will not go into a parking lot by myself. And if I do, my heart is racing, and I am constantly looking, she said.
And the Scream series begot the Scary Movie series.
Right, yep. Barrymore will feature stars from the 2022 Scream reboot through the rest of the week leading up to the premiere, which is this Friday, by the way.
Steve, I forget my chronology, but is that where Arquette and Courtney Cox met?
Yes.
Okay, and then they got married, and then
Yeah, that's what he was saying. That's what he got out of it.
Oh, gotcha,
a
okay.
child and everything.
He played, what was it? Was it Dooley, the
Dewey,
Dewey, the dumb
Yeah.
sheriff? Yeah.
And then in Scream movies, it was or Scary movies, Doofy.
By the way, Nev Campbell, boy, did I have a crush on her, man.
Absolutely. In The Craft?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Did you see the movie Skyscraper with Dwayne Johnson?
No.
She's his wife.
No.
Yeah, she looks great.
That movie is a good junk food movie.
It is.
Is that the right word? Junk food?
It makes the Fast and Furious movies look like cinema verite.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so over the top.
Check your brain at the door for sure. But I had fun watching it.
It's fun, yeah.
Nice. Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage is being candid about his experience as someone who has acnodroplasia. He said, being my size, I get second looks quite often. He told the UK newspaper The Times in a recent interview, he said, my whole life I've had stares. He added that the work that he's done has changed this experience. He said, now there's an ownership to someone looking at me or approaching me. It's because of something positive. And it's not just my size. It's the work that I've done that has afforded them a second look.
He hosted SNL. I don't know how many times he's done it, but the last time he did it, they had a number of great skits. He's like a funny guy.
Yes.
You know, I hear that he can be difficult to work with, but he's a funny comedic actor.
Dinklage also had some things to say about his recent role in Cyrano, a film for which his wife Erica Schmidt wrote the adaptation. He said the idea of a leading actor is changing now, whether racially or whatever, and it's about time. We've been stuck with this stereotype of a leading man, and it's healthy to open that up. Love life is not the domain of pretty people. Everybody has a love life, he said. And he's a fantastic actor. Man, Game of Thrones, he was incredible in. Pose actress Michaela J. Rodriguez is celebrating her Golden Globe win for Best Actress in a Television Drama Series, and she's the first trans woman in history to win a Golden Globe. So she took to Instagram on Sunday to express her excitement. Along with a photo of herself, Rodriguez wrote, this is the door that is going to open the door for many more young, talented individuals. They will see that it's more than possible. They will see that a young Black Latina girl from Newark, New Jersey, who had a dream to change the minds of others with love. Love wins. To my young LGBTQAI babies, we are here. The door is now open. Now reach the stars, she says.
What's the AI?
I don't know.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence.
Oscar-winning actor Michael Caine is giving fans the chance to own mementos of his illustrious film career.
This is pretty cool because he's been in some great movies.
Personal items include
Jaws 4.
Include the 88-year-old star's gold Rolex watch, estimated to fetch as much as $16,000.
It's worth a lot of money.
And paintings from his personal collection will go under the hammer in London on March 2nd.
I'm surprised you didn't go like Batman right off the bat. You went Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws 4.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to talk about the paramount achievement in his acting career.
Right.
Charlie Thomas, director of House of Sales and Iconic Collections at Bonhams, which is handling the sale, said whoever the successful bidders are, they will own a piece of history. A piece of his history, an item with unrivaled provenance.
He did a great documentary about London in the 60s. That's kind of when his film career started to kick in, but he was palling around with the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and all of these. You know, he was in and amongst that group, and it was really well done.
According to the UK's Time newspaper, the Italian job star is reluctantly selling off many of his beloved items as he and his wife Shakira are downsizing from a mansion in Surrey, southeast England.
So he married Shakira. How about that?
He did. I know. I never knew. Well, those hips don't lie, man.
No,
you know?
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thomas described the auction, which includes a director's chair from the 1971 crime thriller Get Carter,
great movie,
in which Kane starred as gangster Jack Carter, and even a pair of the actor's famous spectacles as one of Bonham's most personal sales to date. He said Sir Michael has collected these items over many decades and has always bought what he loves rather than for any other reason. And this makes this collection so incredibly special.
Nothing from Jaws 4: The Revenge, Preston?
No. Other standout pieces include a portrait of Kane by English painter Lincoln Townley, as well as a film poster for the 1966 romantic comedy Alfie. And from his art collection, Kane is selling, and I'm going to mess up this pronunciation, Les Amours dans l'Arbre, by Marc Chagall.
Do you know what that is?
No.
That what it translates to? Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Chagall was a fan?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's expected to sell for as much as $68,000, by the way.
Steve, do you remember the name of his character from Jaws 4?
No, I just remember he was a pilot.
It was, I swear to God, Hoagie.
Hoagie.
Yeah.
Hoagie.
All right, he's Hoagie.
Name's Hoagie.
That's where actually a relative of the shark that was destroyed by...
that was the plot point?
Yes. Went after the family.
Oh, so
was going to take out the family.
The relative was seeking revenge?
The relative of the shark was seeking a revenge on the relative of the son of Sheriff Brody, and followed him down to the Caribbean.
Huh.
Fortunately, the mom intercedes and is able to step in and help.
Interesting.
It doesn't get more realistic than that.
That was like Orca. The baby was killed.
Yes.
And the whale freaked out, started killing everybody.
Remember that movie?
But that's believable, though. Whales are smart.
Yeah, they are.
And they can fly.
Sharks are just stupid.
Sharks.
Despite the fact that Kanye West is now dating Uncut Gems actress Julia Fox, Page Six reports that he is still pursuing his ex-wife Kim.
It's not going to happen.
West met Fox in Miami on New Year's Eve, but Page Six says that he only went to Miami because he thought that Kim would be there with her new boyfriend, Pete Davidson, who was hosting a show there.
She seems to, Kim seems to be into Pete Davidson, so it doesn't show any signs of waning.
Following this, sources say Kardashian had planned to go to the Dominican Republic with Davidson in early January, but West found out and planned to arrive there as well. Kim secretly changed plans and went to the Bahamas instead.
Ooh,
The
smart move.
source added that Kim was also none too happy when Kanye bought a house across the road from her.
It was pretty
in Hidden
stalkery.
Hills. It sounds total stalkery, man. You know, showing up. I mean, instead of like us going to the Dominican Republic, it'd be showing up at the bar that you know they're going to be at. You know what I mean?
But like, why is that stalkery? But Adele can sing about it, and it's romantic, and
I guess
she's
showing up
not
on-
sad.
She's not in a van across from the...
But she sings about it. This song, someone like you is like, dude, I went to this party because you were going to be there, and I thought maybe if you see me.
Well, we've all done stuff like that when you break up and you're like, you take a drive by the house and so on and so forth. But this is a lot. This is higher level stuff here.
I guess the difference is she's singing about it and he's doing it.
Yeah.
No, she did it. That's what she's singing about. What she did.
She went to a party. He went to the Dominican Republic. It's a different thing. So
Yeah, I know.
yeah. So, according to People, Sandra Bullock is crediting Netflix for her success as of late. She said if it wasn't for Netflix, a lot of people wouldn't be working. Their stories wouldn't be told. Who would think that me, as a woman, would still be working at this point? I would
Who
have
would
been.
think that?
She said I would have been out in the cow pasture. It's true. She said that. She stars in the film The Unforgivable.
Has anybody seen it?
My wife saw it. She said it was okay. What'd you think?
It's not bad.
Okay.
It has a good twist at the end.
All right. It's among the top 10 most watched films on Netflix. And her 2018 film Bird Box is even higher on the list. That was a good movie.
Waiting for that sequel, supposedly.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean,
here.
we got Jaws for the Revenge.
Yeah, we did. All right, Bachelor in Paradise fans are speculating on whether one of their favorite couples have broken up. Or not.
No.
According to Page 6, Marissa Gunn deleted a bunch of photos of her fiance, Riley Christian, from her Instagram.
I don't like you.
Last week, Christian also retweeted the quote, "If it compromises your mental health or happiness, don't be afraid to walk away." Fans are saddened by
deep.
Fans are saddened by the possibility of the two breaking up.
Bachelor in Paradise is the one that is on the totem pole. It is the lowest. It is the most. It is the dumbest with the dumbest participants.
One user tweeted, "Marissa
That's saying a lot.
deleting her pics with Riley is just like that was my fave couple."
You're like my favorite. I loved you.
Another commented, Riley and Marissa.
I was a bachelor in paradise, but you made me rethink my wayward thing.
Another commented, Riley and Marissa breaking up is almost the death of me.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a little profound.
Let's reevaluate our life, shall
Maybe
we?
we need to shut that TV off.
Yep. Peacock dropped the first trailer for Bel Air yesterday. Did you guys see it? I did
Yeah.
not see it yet.
It's serious.
It's dramatic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
The teaser trailers have all suggested it was going to be like not funny.
yeah, it looks. I think it looks really good. It's just a very different departure and different take than what we're used to.
Yeah. Spin-off from the 1990 sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Show stars Jabari Banks as Will and Adrian Holmes as his Uncle Phil. Will Smith, who, of course, starred in the original, acts as a narrator and executive produce the show. By the way, do we know if there's a theme song?
There
yet?
is.
A much more serious theme song?
It's done in a different fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit more, it's not as buoyant.
In West Philadelphia.
Yeah,
it's not that.
No, there's a Carlton character, and he is not, the goofy sidekick kind of a character. He's kind of this guy who has been living in Beverly Hills or Bel Air for a long stretch and knows what it's like, and so he introduces the Will Smith character into school, and it looks good.
And if this is their house that we're looking at video from, it's a step up from Uncle Phil's place.
Yeah, Uncle Phil was a corporate lawyer. Was he a corporate lawyer? What was he? He was a lawyer, right?
He was a judge.
A judge, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to, let me see here, Morgan Cooper, the show's director, said, at its core, Bel Air is a celebration of the black experience through the perspective of a family. E! News reports that the first 3 episodes of the series will be available for streaming on Sunday, February 13th.
We'll see how this goes.
Just as her co-host Hoda Kotb returned to the Today Show after recovering from COVID-19, Savannah Guthrie tested positive for the virus. Guthrie joked to Kotb that they are trading places. And according to E! News, Savannah said, "I'm working from home. You're back in the studio. You have a negative test for COVID. I just tested positive for COVID. So here we go." So she is trying to fight that off.
How many hours of the Today Show are there now? Is it like 18 every day?
God, I have no idea.
Yeah, it seems to be on forever.
Is it on when we're off? When we're done?
Yes, I believe it is. So they go from the Today Show into this version. So there's a couple extra hours after it. Too much.
Ellen Pompeo might be ready for Grey's Anatomy to end, but the show will still go on. ABC announced yesterday that the medical drama will return for its 19th season.
You gotta be kidding me.
E! News reports that creator Shonda Rhimes said, "I couldn't be more excited that we get to keep telling the stories of Meredith, Bailey, Richard, and all of the other doctors at Gray Sloan Memorial for another season." So it continues on. Is this the theme to this?
No, this is the Queen. The show must go on.
Oh, I'm like, wait a minute.
I thought that was a very dramatic theme. Yeah.
I like that, though. 19 seasons, man.
At 19 seasons, with how many ever episodes per season, if you're the writers, you have to dread coming up with new crap.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times can you do a colonoscopy?
Right? But the show goes on.
Yeah.
All right, one last story. People reports that Paramount Pictures and MTV Studios released the final trailer for Jackass Forever on Monday. And the film will feature Jackass originals such as Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Chris Pontius, Dave England, and Wee Man performing more outrageous stunts.
I didn't see it. I'm curious to see where they're going to take it because, again, they want to up the ante from all the past movies, but their bodies aren't really what they used to be 25 years ago.
Casey, did they bring in like some young guns, some new guys? Or
You know what?
something?
I didn't see that in any of the trailers. Maybe they do that for this trailer. From what I saw, it was. I mean, they always brought in some sort of guest star.
Yeah, yeah.
But when for every trailer I saw up until this last one, it was just those guys.
They have two. They have one guy who's kind of really overweight who does some stuff, and I think he appears
Not
in this.
Preston Lacey.
No, different guy.
Okay.
All right, Nick pulled up the trailer, and I'm watching the actual action sequence. They launched somebody, I couldn't tell who it was, out of a human cannon, and when he comes out, he's got the like angel wings on.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
See that?
I see it.
Stuff still makes me laugh.
You can't help it.
There's one where a guy's riding a bike and they show a ramp that he's heading towards. It's going to be running into trash cans, but it's actually a realistic drawn mural, and he rides right into the wall.
It's good stuff, man.
Listen, they're gags at work. They still work.
The amount of time it takes to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
That's why, after the original onslaught of the jackass imitators and ripoff people, you gained a newfound respect for what these guys were able to pull off.
Yep. So the film was scheduled to hit theaters in October of last year, but it has been moved to February 4th due to COVID-19. So get yourself ready for that. All right, clips. Let's do it. The evangelical family business faces a new threat in season 2 of The Righteous Gemstones. Here, star Danny McBride talks about how his character deals with a rival couple. Here we go.
I think that Jesse and Amber see a little bit of themselves in the Listens. The Listens are another husband and wife duo that have just recently taken over the reins from patriarch of the family. And so now they have this new sense of self, this new sense of power, and they're getting a chance to like live their dreams and do the stuff that they had only talked about. And I think Jesse and Amber, they like what that looks like.
Well, I don't get the rain man cold, but they're.
I've not seen this, but is this kind of a riff on the super rich religious leaders?
Yes, that's clearly what it is. I just saw a commercial for it, and I didn't realize the season has already gone by.
Season 2.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at what he looks like, Danny McBride.
Yeah.
And just looking at him, this show looks hilarious.
I just started it last night, and it is great. I'm 2 episodes into the first season. It's hilarious, but it has brought a very interesting point about TV right now. There are a lot of D's on TV right now.
I don't know what you mean, D's. Penises?
Penises. There are a lot of male naked penises. Like Walter Goggin, and the first episode just stands up and there's his penis just hanging out right there. I mean, I appreciate it. It's a little bit of shock value for me because I'm used to just seeing boobs and never seeing penises.
Right.
But now there's a lot of penises.
All right. If that's your thing, it's out there and ready for you. Which, by the way, if they could include a Kenneth Copeland character or something like this, I'd be all in.
I think that's what he's kind of based on.
The dad is kind of that, plus a Jim Baker.
All right. New episodes of The Righteous Gemstones premiere on HBO every Monday, by the way. Here's our next clip. A badass group of international female spies must work together to stop a terrorist organization from starting World War III in 355. And in this clip, Jessica Chastain discusses doing her own stunts.
I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again, but definitely jumping off that building was really scary. I was so high up. They weren't even going to have me do it. They were going to have the stunt person do it. And then I thought, I have to, this whole thing was my idea. And in some sense, it's a leap of faith because yes, you're wearing a harness, but you don't know that it's going to catch you because you can't practice it in a safe way. You just have to do it.
I don't think I want to see it.
The 355 is in theaters now. All right, and there you go. That's what I got. Your entertainment report this morning. We have a lot taking place today. We're going to be changing things up schedule-wise a tad bit. We're going to do Fox Good Day a day early. Mike Jarek definitely wanted to pop on and talk about Bob Saget.
Yes.
So we are going to do that check-in with those guys about 45 minutes from now or so. Mark Summers is going to be on the program as well, and Whitney Cummings has got a show coming up in April. It says coming to the area in February and April.
Yeah, so she'll be in Bethlehem in February,
okay.
and then Philly. In April.
Marion Theater. All right, so we'll talk to Whitney Cummings as well. So we got a lot on our plate today. We'll take a break. We'll come back in just a moment. Make sure you stay with us. Stay warm. We will return shortly.
Preston and Steve
on 93.3 WMMR.
What's new?
Glad you asked. Foo Fighters.
Has a lot of experience with planes. We've seen, him and the other guy. There are two of these televangelists that are really big into their aircraft.
They are really consumed with the level of aircraft that they own, and often the current plane they own is not good enough.
It just ain't gonna cut it.
Because the Lord needs them to spread the gospel.
We were blessed to have an airplane that it was a Vickers Viscount.
A Vickers Viscount.
And a man on our board of directors owned that airplane. And his financial situation had come to the place where, particularly after he got born again, and a lot, I won't go into all that.
No, I won't go into all that. That's the religious part and it bogs things down. By the way, if we're all not clear at this point, not dime one is making its way to anybody who's poor. I just want to be clear on that. And I know I can say that to you, God bless you all, everyone sitting here right now, and it won't matter. You'll still gladly open up your wallets and put that money in the collection plate.
All right, let me continue.
But that airplane had been parked for several years. Mm-hmm. And it was a 4-engine turboprop.
I mean, Jesus Christ, he sounds like
he's talking about
this. It sounds like you're at an air show. He's a preacher.
He's
a man of the Lord, ostensibly.
Mm-hmm.
Airliner. So this is back in the days when George first came along, and oh man, we had fun in that old airplane, didn't we?
Oh my God.
They had an older sort of navigation system on that. I know that many of you are going to remember that they didn't have the triple GPS coordination system that you find in the newer vehicles. Did I mention Jesus yet or anything?
This is a sermon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we
there's a particular fuel mixture that I'd like to talk about. And then, of course, why you shouldn't covet your neighbor's wife.
Right. Yeah, this is in front of a group of his followers.
This is in church. Or whatever.
Televangelist.
Airplane hangar.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we put that thing back in the service. We went through that airplane from head to from nose to tail, and they did X-rays of the fuselage and everything, looking for corrosion. And there was some. It wasn't all that bad, but the X-rays showed that there was some spots of corrosion.
Okay, and he's saying, okay, how can I
tie this back into what's my spiel?
Yeah.
Like the way your soul gets corroded.
Right.
Oh, good. Go with that.
Yeah, good. Yeah. All right, so he takes big, long pauses. Here we go.
And so I was praying over it. Mm-hmm. And just
he's praying over the corrosion.
In his aircraft. Praying over it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So instead of going out and earning money,
I decided to return my faith to its upright position. Because the Lord's beverage cart had been stowed. Because we were coming in for a landing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just as plain.
Listen to this.
The Lord said to me.
Okay, so this is God talking directly to him.
No fumar.
He's talking directly to him. Yeah.
The Lord said to me, lay hands on it. I'll heal it. What?
Listen to the people talking. What? And he says, what?
What?
Even he doesn't buy it.
I never heard him. What? Well, he said, Kenneth.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
He said, Kenneth, you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. This is your thing. Mm-hmm. You're all about the freaking planes. Give it a try.
He said, corrosion comes from the curse.
Oh.
Self-pleasuring.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And listen to people going, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Comes from the curse.
Comes from the curse.
He said, I provided that airplane for you, didn't I? I said, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He laid hands on it. Okay.
Okay.
And I started.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, didn't he say that? All right, so this plane belonged to somebody else, and the Lord provided it for him at the.
Lord didn't have much use for the previous owner.
Yeah, the previous owner had
Previous
come in a
owner
hard
could have
time.
gone down in a ball of flames. The Lord would not have given a rat's ass.
And I started praying in the Spirit, and the more I prayed in the Spirit, the happier I got. And so I just went, oh man, you talk about laying hands on that thing. I laid hands on it all over, and it's a big old airplane. It took a while to do it. You know?
I have to be honest with you. At a certain point, I put my pee-pee in a few holes. And it felt good. Because some of them have some of the rubber stoppers that feel like a woman's lady parts. It felt good. I mean, come on.
I know.
Who's sitting there? Who's sitting there listening to this?
A group of people.
And he has a very large following.
The answer is enough people.
Yeah.
To pay for that beautiful aircraft.
Not one listen, I don't know how big that crowd is. Not
Are
one,
you out of your mind?
right?
Laid hands on that thing, just laid hands on it all over and praised God and laid hands on that and commanded that corrosion to leave in Jesus' name.
Seriously.
Then I crawled up and I kind of hunched my back and started gyrating like, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Serious.
And I saw that corrosion disappear. Then I exploded. Come on.
They did more x-rays and came back. There was just one little old spot there. I said, Lord, what? No, he said, I want to remind you. I said, what are you reminding me of? He said, they could have said maybe the x-rays were wrong.
Said maybe the x-rays.
Oh, my God.
Are wrong.
If only you could see Steve's face right now. Come on.
I said, it's there on my back. I just made back.
What?
X-rays are wrong.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: take him out to an airport. Get a plane that has some sort of error, with something wrong with it, something that makes it really not safe for flight. Lay down on it, and would he lay down on it and pray and then get in that plane?
Well, God didn't tell him that. That would be the defense. God didn't tell me to heal this one, so I can't do it if He's not telling me to do it.
Oh my
you know
God!
What I mean, so there's a
fail-safe,
a built-in fail-safe.
So we laid hands on it again, and it's gone.
You're fired. Yeah. Even I don't believe it.
We need to loop that. Gwyneth Paltrow was spotted at Long Island's New York Center for Innovative Medicine, a center known for its holistic treatment of Lyme disease.
Was she wearing a lab coat?
The founder, I don't know if she's wearing a lab coat. The founder, Dr. Thomas Zulk, has been featured on her website, Goop, for his energy blanching procedures.
I read Zulk on Goop, and I like.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
I said the wrong thing. Not energy blanching. Energy balancing. Blanching is lightly boiling
None
something.
of us would have noticed.
Listen, in the world of Goop, that makes complete sense. Now they can blanch your energy.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds good. I'll try that.
Yes. Can you also whiten my anus?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
We can whiten your anus.
Here's the app for that.
Too.
I'm blanching both my anus and my energy.
God. Hey, I had a story that keys off of teachers, and I thought this was kind of interesting. This is out of, where is this? Somewhere in the South. I think it's in the...
is it Florida?
No, it's North Carolina. The teacher at Northeast Carolina Preparatory School in Tarboro, North Carolina, had apparently punished one of their students. By punish, I mean making them write a phrase over and over and over and over again.
A la Bart Simpson.
Because he called her ma'am.
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, and she didn't like it, and so he had to write the word ma'am numerous times. His teacher asked him to write it. He told his mother that he had to return this with the parent's signature after he repeatedly called her the word despite being told not to do so.
Okay, well, if she told him not to, then...
Yeah, he completed his assignment during class hours, which made his mom worry that maybe it had interfered with some of schoolwork.
Yes.
According to the mom, Mrs. Wilson, the teacher also told the young boy that if she had something... she would have thrown it at him. I'm sorry, said to the boy. So if she would have had something, she would have thrown it at him. After the mom signed the paper, she had also had the boy write down the definition of ma'am, which is a term of respectful or polite address used for a woman, according to Oxford dictionaries. There's some people that hate being called ma'am, and
I hate it.
My wife uses ma'am as a sign of respect when she's on the phone with someone asking for help.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
It is, and especially as you start to go south, you're going to find it is a term. It is a respectful way to refer to people.
Yeah.
I would it's a weird thing. I know, Preston, you're right.
By the way, a lot of questions about Ms. Romano, and she's been under the weather, but is starting to feel better, and we might have her back tomorrow. We'll see about all that. So, but thank you for checking in. I'm sure she appreciates it. Listen, with the colder temperatures, now, thankfully, it doesn't come, we don't have any precipitation right now because you get temperatures this cold, you get a front coming through, and then we get dumped on, and then we're dealing with, tons of snow.
I think that's actually happening in Boston, where they're getting like 2 feet of snow or something like that.
God.
Crazy bad weather.
So we just have the cold, which is not so bad, but I'm sure more snow is going to be on the way. But I saw this article this morning with this kind of deep freeze that's happening in our area. Some reports have been coming through about frostbite. And what you need to watch.
Have you ever had it?
I've never had it.
I had it.
Really?
Yeah. And
what part of your body?
My feet.
Okay.
And actually, I was shooting a comedy video at that time, a Super 8 film, and so I was in the snow in my feet, and we were doing,
In
whatever.
your bare feet?
In my bare feet.
Oh my God.
I'm an idiot, but it was all for the comedy, so it was worth almost getting your feet amputated. But I remember it. I didn't see the color change, but I got the pain, the itchiness, like a profound itchiness.
Does that happen after, or
it happened when I got home? It started.
Okay.
So, and I know that I was told by the doctor that it was an earlier level of frostbite. What I did notice for many years after that area was much more sensitive to the cold, like on my foot. It seemed. It took forever. I don't have it anymore, but for years, that area would seem to be more responsive when it was cold. It would actually, I would get that tingling, that little bit of pain.
Okay, so your fingers, toes, nose, and ears are especially vulnerable to frostbite in this weather. Live Science reported that you can develop frostbite if the temperature falls below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's where it starts. That's where the danger begins. The National Weather Service notes in a blog post, frostbite happens when the body's survival mechanisms kick in during extremely cold weather. To protect the vital inner organs, the body actually cuts circulation to your extremities.
It's just shutting down systems.
Totally. So feet, hands, nose, etc.
You don't need the nose.
Which eventually freeze. And to avoid frostbite, you want to stay inside. It says if wind chill is negative 50 or below, so make sure you stay in.
I think I'm going to stay
negative 50.
Let's take this soiree inside.
I mean, I am.
It just hit negative 50.
I'm so surprised that I never got frostbite as a child.
Me too.
I mean, legit, like my way, especially during a snowstorm, my way of protecting my feet was to stick them in bags and then put them in boots.
Likewise, we had the loosest fitting, what do you call them? The rubbers or not condoms, but like
galoshes.
Big boots with openings in the top where snow could easily slide down.
I never owned a pair of snow pants. Like ever, like
you just wore jeans.
No, I wasn't even a jeans guy. I was a sweat. You just all right. Well, I'm going to put 3 pairs of sweatpants on. You go out, you play for hours and hours and hours, just snowball fights, sledding, do whatever, and then
how the hell did we? I know exactly what you're talking about. How the hell did we endure that? The notion now is just ridiculous.
Ski pants were a revelation. When you eventually got those, you're like, dude, I could roll around in the snow.
I got my
not
first
have to worry about this.
My first pair of ski pants because of the Cardboard Classic. I never had them before that. I never skied. I didn't know.
This is a stupid question, but do you think kids are less susceptible to frostbite than adults? Because I
think they have to be
outside for hours and hours and hours on end.
Do you ever look at kids playing in the snow and go, God, how are they doing that?
Yeah. Listen, I know that when it snowed, and Casey, I don't know about you, but if you were going to make snowballs, you got to take your gloves off.
Yeah.
Yes!
To make real snowballs,
You gotta pack it.
good ones, you got to pack it.
That's right.
Pack that.
Yeah. I mean, God forbid you had mittens on.
You weren't making snowballs at that point, Nick. When you took your gloves off, you were prepared to make ice balls.
That's right. Yeah, you got to cause some damage.
Right.
Yes, totally.
I'm going to kill this guy.
So it says here that to avoid frostbite, you want to stay inside, like I said, if the wind
Probably
chill's
around heat, right?
-50 or below, dress in layers.
Okay.
And keep an eye out for signs and symptoms of frostbite, including a prickly burning sensation followed by numbness, skin color changing to red, white, blue, or pale. It's very patriotic.
So what you
pale, white, yellow tones.
What you first described is what I was feeling. The prickly numbness.
And waxy or tough-looking skin, stiffness in the joints or muscles, and severe cases, blistering can occur, and skin can turn black as well. And then, you have to deal with amputations and things like that. If
I don't
you end
like
up
that.
getting severe frostbite.
Obviously, frostbite has been depicted to various levels in movies. What Mr. Deeds, was that what his?
Oh, his foot
is black.
Yeah. The iron, not the tire iron.
And he saved someone by sticking it into
the poker. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I'm just kidding. I can't feel anything. We got a text that says, good morning from Maine. It is currently -3 degrees outside with a high of 1 and a noontime wind chill of -21.
My friend Karen lives and works in Maine, and she just yesterday and today not going outside, not going anywhere. She can work from home. She has that luxury, but there's just no point in going anywhere and doing anything.
When it gets listen, I'm pretty good in the cold. I've become sort of a winter shorts guy. In various situations.
Not today.
Today I opted out of that.
Right,
but I'm not completely insane. I would say I'm a little bit more durable.
Yeah.
But I've been in places that are, where you literally, when the wind blows, it feels like needles in your face.
Here's a text that says, you guys never lived in an actually cold area, and it shows. Gladly and proudly. I don't want to live in a really,
is that a
really
dig or
cold
something like
area.
that,
I guess
or?
it's their version of a dig. I don't really.
You guys have never been molested in prison.
And it shows.
I'm looking to keep that track record.
Listen, and Nick, you had asked a question earlier about whether children are more susceptible. I don't know, but I know that my son and his friends, they still will go out in this weather with shorts and a sweatshirt, and I used to as well.
Right.
There was a long time where I'm yes, it was cold, you can't get away from that, but it's I could deal with it though.
Right, yeah.
Going to parties and stuff like that in college. Yes, I would walk from my dorm all the way across campus in a t-shirt. Just because I don't.
Well, you knew there was warmth at the end of the trip.
Going out in the car.
But I mean,
destination,
yeah,
but still,
it's still a half-hour walk.
No way.
As long as my core, it's how I can get away with the shorts. As long as my core is warm. Also, a big thing for me, the neck. If the neck is cold, then I feel cold. So that's why I've the scarves, all that stuff.
That is not me. No freaking way would I walk around in shorts out today. In fact, I thought about wearing thermals underneath my pants, underneath my jeans as I was stepping outside. I'm like, this is a little too chilly. Now, on the opposite end of things, my old martial arts instructor, Steven, he will go out for a run in shorts today. No shoes, no shirt, nothing.
No shoes?
Yes, he does.
Barefoot.
He's nuts like that.
Holy hell.
But he does it to train his his body.
Right.
And has been successful. Who's the guy, Case, that does that?
Oh,
Wim Hof?
Wim Hof. He like follows his ideology on that stuff. So
God bless him.
Yeah,
I'll watch videos of them doing it from the comfort of my couch.
No, thank you. Cold is one of my it's one of my Achilles heels, for lack of a better term, because I know you guys have done the polar bear plunges and things like that.
Yeah.
I will not do those.
So
I'm not going to do those.
I completely understand that. So in the heat, I don't know. Whenever I'm in one, I tend to say that's the one I don't like. But I guess I can, like, for example, last night I had the ceiling fan on in the room. I want the ability to bundle up and get warm. Yeah, as opposed to when you are desperately hot and you're down to nothing and there's nothing is going to cool you. I think that's a worse position to be in.
Well, I mean, I like cooler temperatures, but I mean, I can spend the day outside in 95, 100-degree weather, for hours or whatever and deal with it. But jumping into frozen water or really like it can take my breath away.
Well,
it's like, okay,
I've done it a couple times.
Checking out on this.
The last time they did it, Preston, we did it for, and Nick, it was the same one you did.
Yeah.
It was, the water temperature was like 19, 20 degrees, and they actually told us not to go in above our hearts.
Yeah, the EMTs and the cops were out, another 20 or 30 yards, and those guys had to stay in for long stretches of time to protect the people who were doing the polar plunge. Steve, I think you and I share the mentality of like, I feel like, in my mind anyway, I can always warm up afterwards.
Yes.
And when I'm hot and sticky and feel gross, like that really affects my mood and my mindset, and I
get angry.
I get angry and I get cranky, and with at least,
I get fussy.
I get fussy, and I'm a little tired.
He's a little fussy.
Kind of hungry.
And I look like a baby.
I want to, but like in weather like this, I know that I can go home and get under a blanket.
Yes. So that to me is the wonderful thing. But I mean, when you were, do you remember the coldest you've ever been, Preston?
You do?
Yeah.
What?
And it was an abnormally cold day in October. It was my brother. I was a kid. He was in this championship football game. It was Folsom Falcons versus the Ridley Park Parkers.
Yeah.
The game was at Sun Valley High School. It was October.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was 5 below zero. It was crazy how cold it was. I don't remember. And there's probably record of this about how cold it was in October, because it doesn't make sense for it to be as cold as it was.
Right.
But it was ridiculous how cold that was.
The coldest memories that I have just seem to flash back to getting up in the morning to go to school and like getting on the bus or something like that. Those were the coldest days to me.
Well, yes. Yeah, I remember brutal. And I don't know. So how come if you're a kid and you're more resilient to those memories? I agree. Those are the times I felt, this is insane.
Yeah. Is it because you're active? Because you're out moving and probably sweating at the same time?
I think that's got to be it. So, for example, when I go out and hike, I can go out in brutally cold weather. For the first 10 minutes, you're like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
And then once you start getting into the moving and the whole deal and do this sort of thing, you start to warm up and you feel better. But yeah, I remember as a kid waiting at the bus stop, you just stand there and be like, dear God, let me die.
I mean, the summit of Kilimanjaro was like 5, 6 below, and it was the coldest I've ever been, but I was also hiking to the top of a 19,000-foot peak, so I'd been exercising for 7 straight days or whatever the hell it was. So I don't remember that memory as it being freezing.
That brutal.
Right. Here's a text saying, camping in Scouts at Valley Forge in -8 with snow and rain. Multiple tents broke because of the ice.
So I used to live across from Pauling's farm on Pauling's Road in that part of Valley Forge Park, and they would have the Scouts come every year, and they would camp like it was Valley Forge winter. Like
they're trying to relive that.
I guess they were trying to.
Why? We won.
Well, I mean, people died.
I'd go home and I'd be like, God bless these kids and the Scouts, but what the hell are you doing? It looked like, and they would do it on weekends where it was absolutely frigid.
Why don't they recreate the Donner Party, Nick?
Right? I mean,
and start eating each other.
You guys hungry?
Yeah. It's interesting. I've had people actually email us from Antarctica. There's a station there, and people that listen to the show have been there, and they've sent me little patches and stickers and things from there. I am fascinated and would actually like to I don't know why, but experience being there for
So
some
would
reason,
I.
even though it was some of the harshest conditions on the
I
planet.
just want a space heater when I go because I agree 1,000%. Going to like Alaska, Preston, when I took my wife and I took that trip many years ago. That was in the summer, but you're looking at areas and you can see it constantly where you're like around the glacier park or wherever. Well, were you to be there unprotected, you die within minutes.
Yep.
Savage.
I got some calls coming in. I'm going to go to Mark. Hi, Mark. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, dude. What's up?
Hey, that game Kate's talking about, the Ridley Park Parkers against the Fulton Falcons, I was playing in that game.
Oh,
wow.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you played with Parker. Sorry, man. I'm like, wait, I probably know who you are.
Yeah, well, I went to Ridley Park, actually.
Okay.
And I used to live in Folsom, so that's why I started playing with the Folsom Falcons. But I played for the Ridley Park Parkers also.
So you're going to back up Casey's story that it was unbelievably cold?
Oh, my goodness. We came in at halftime, and my feet were numb from about the middle of my shins down. I couldn't feel anything. We're sitting on the sidelines. Everybody's jumping around. It was the coldest that I've ever felt.
Yeah, it was crazy because you guys ended up winning that game, which, no offense, you guys had no business winning that game. Like, and I think you guys ended up winning like 7-6 or something like that. Somebody on your team broke their leg.
Yes.
Who?
Yep, broke his leg.
Did it just freeze?
Going after a tackle.
Yeah.
It was
just snapped right off, Steve.
Shattered.
Frozen solid
Like glass.
shattered right
Oh,
there.
it was so cold. Didn't know what it did.
Wow, so you remembering it too? Well, then that speaks to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and because it was a frigid January/February type of temperature in the middle of October. And like
So no one's prepared.
Nobody's really prepared for it. Yeah,
I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cold.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it, bud.
Marissa, were you at the Eagles game on Saturday night?
Yes, it's definitely not the coldest it's been, but somewhere around the third quarter, I couldn't feel my hands.
Well, what's the coldest of the stadiums?
You know what, Case? Maybe you'll remember this. All I remember is going out. It was probably like 2013 or 14, and it was a playoff game. And I remember actually going out.
I was against the Falcons.
Yes, and getting thermacare patches like that you put on like a muscle ache.
Yeah.
Because they have heat patches, and covering my body with those to wear under my clothing.
You left the game and came back in, or would you?
No, I brought them.
You brought them with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
okay.
like those hot hand things are good, but only for like a little while, and kind of only if you go into warmth and then find them.
Yeah, the football game freezing cold thing. No.
It's
just sitting there.
Yeah, but you know what? Like
There is
now,
no desire.
I look at the old footage of the Green Bay Packers,
the
the
frozen
first
tundra.
season, the frozen tundra, and I'm like, you people are freaking insane, man.
I don't care that you couldn't pay me enough.
you get there's John Facenda, like it was a good old cold day in the
Yes.
Yeah.
Big Iron Warriors.
Oh, I actually have that music that they use for the old NFL film stuff like that. Man, I loved watching that stuff. When
I loved watching it from the comfort of my television.
Yes, totally.
In my warm living
I will
room.
watch other people freeze to death. That's wonderful. As long as I'm not
It's
the one
so
doing it.
interesting how people die slowly from frostbite.
But now,
242 people died on the frozen tundra that day, but Green Bay went on to prove that they had what it takes.
I mean, come on. I don't care. Listen, God bless you, your fandom, and your support of the team, but there is no effing way.
yeah, but now you have all of that gear, and like
I do.
Today, they have like listen, the technology is great, but they also have like they also have like things that you can like plug in and charge.
And I have them. They're great.
I have electric socks that I go out on bike rides, and you know what I mean. Like I can actually. How cold is it right now? It is 18 degrees. Well, maybe I wouldn't go out in 18 degrees, but I can go out for a bike ride and feel somewhat comfortable.
But you're moving. Like sitting at the Eagles game, to me, like you're just sitting there the whole time.
With the electric socks.
And drinking a cold beer.
Like it's the lack of movement that gets me. It doesn't matter what kind of gear I have on. If I'm sitting still, not going anywhere and doing anything, to me, that it just ends up being miserable.
I don't know. If I had the heated outfit, I could probably be okay with that. I bought Rochelle a heated vest. She hasn't used it yet, but I got her that for her birthday.
So I have every iteration. There's a place and they used to have, I don't know if it's still open, but in Mannion called the Warming Store. I have the socks, I have the pants, I have the gloves, I have the whole deal. A lot of times you find out that the stuff is actually just warm enough without. I mean, unless you're in real extreme stuff.
You got it if you need it.
You got it if you need it. But yeah, that is comfortable. Do I want to sit? Like, for example, even at the Cardboard Classic, when I've had that stuff, and it's great, and it's on, and it's heating away, if you're sedentary, if you're standing in place, you'll start to feel it. It'll seep in through the ground through your heated socks, and you'll feel it, and it sucks.
Yeah, I'm going to try the heated socks because it's the standing on just concrete.
It's not good.
Or like a road. That's what gets you.
Just don't stand on a road.
Yeah, don't stand on that road.
Stop with the road standing.
Hang on, I'm going to go to Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa. Good morning.
Hi, Preston and Steve. Love you guys. Love your show.
We love you, Vanessa. What's up?
Hey, so I heard you guys talking about coldest you ever been. A few years ago, we went up to Niagara Falls. We were on a mega bus, me and a bunch of my friends, and our bus broke down on New Year's Day.
Oh, my God.
It was negative 37 degrees.
Holy
Stuck in this
crap.
bus stop. So we decided to walk to the closest bar in this blizzard. I'll tell you right now, that walk from the bus stop to the bar, coldest I've ever been in my entire life, guys. Like,
How far
doubt.
do you think that? How far do you think that walk was, Vanessa?
It was about probably a half mile uphill, and it was blizzarding. Like
Okay.
we call it like frozen hell of New York. Like, it was the worst day ever.
Dude, let me tell you something, Vanessa. You mix in like a cold, like a snow. You mix in any blizzard condition. All of that stuff. It's nightmarish. But negative
Well, the
37.
falls, like,
Yeah.
The water off Niagara Falls, it blows and blows and blows like it's like this wind. So it's like this wet, heavy mist.
It sucks.
All right.
Yeah. It completely
Vanessa
sucks.
just Thank you, by the way, Vanessa. I appreciate it. Okay, I remember the trek that it took that made me feel like I was a bit of an adventurer. It was, I think it was 1985, and we called it the Great Drought of 1985.
1985.
And the Great Drought was there wasn't any weed anywhere. Like you couldn't get any anywhere.
No weed to be found.
And we had like an 18-inch snowfall, and I found out my buddy Dan had some herb. And Dan lived about 3 miles from my house.
You took a 3-mile hike?
I walked like 3 miles in 18-inch.
So were your buddies bundling you up and like, come on, man, you can do it.
I was by myself. I was alone. I was like, I made
It's like the Revenant.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was out in the wilderness. And, yep, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
I'm going for pot.
Yep.
What are you doing, son? I'm going for gone, sir.
What motivates you? I was like 17 years old, 16,
You know what?
17 years old. That's so fun.
Guys I know who were in Manitoba.
Yeah.
This is the story. Manitoba, I think it was negative 48, 50 degrees.
My God.
So they're riding along. They're in the car. The car's heater is working. They hit like a bump, and the windshield explodes.
Wow.
The windshield is frozen solid. That's how you should not be out in that kind of weather.
No. All right, so I have Clint, who is from Alaska, probably laughing at the ridiculousness of our complaints. Hi, Clint. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Ed.
Hey, good morning, Ed, buddy. Do you live in our area, or are you calling from Alaska?
No, I moved down here about 16 years ago, so
Okay.
I'm acclimated now. This is cold.
Nice. Okay. All right, good. And how bad would it get for you? And what part of Alaska did you live in?
Well, I lived in Anchorage, but for my birthday, my mom took me up to Fairbanks when I was 16. And we landed at the airport, and the pilot said, welcome to Fairbanks. It's a balmy 65 below zero today.
Whoa.
65 below zero, you start to have mechanical issues. You start to have all sorts of things going wrong. I mean, could you instantly, once you stepped out, could you feel it, or do you just get so numb that you can't perceive it?
Well, up there they tell you once it gets 40 below, you don't notice a difference. And let me tell you, you do. It was so cold. We rented a car, so they went out and started the car. We went and had dinner. We were in the airport for about an hour. We got out to the car, which they keep plugged in, and it's got all kinds of heaters on it.
Right.
And just right where the vents were was defrosted, so we still had to scrape the windows off. But yeah, that was freezing.
Well,
And then,
I mean that's you have to keep the batteries. Won't the batteries explode?
no, there's a blanket that wraps the battery. There's a plate that goes under the battery. You plug that in. There's a heater for the dipstick tube that goes in. You put a heater on the oil pan.
It's too much.
Then you have a head block heater that goes into the actual engine. Then they got a tank heater that circulates the antifreeze.
I just set the car on fire and go in and have my lunch.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
But also the coldest wind chill, because I hear everybody talk about wind chill. We don't really count it that much, but the coldest wind chill I've been in was 133 below zero.
Oh, man.
Where? Was that Alaska?
Yeah, we were out on a lake snow machine, and it was 50 below zero with a 45-mile-an-hour wind.
No. I mean, when you see polar bears reaching for hoodies, it's too much.
Man,
Jesus.
that's insane, Clint. Well, welcome to the
I thought I'd
tropics.
put it in perspective for everybody.
No, we
All right,
know,
thanks,
yeah.
man. I appreciate it. Take care.
Could you imagine?
Wow, we'll see ya. Yeah, so we ain't got it that bad, but it's the coldest that it's been in 3 years. I find that hard to believe.
It just doesn't seem like.
I guess the last couple of years
we've had single digits.
I knew that they were mild, but I didn't know it was as mild. I thought for sure we got down as mid-20s being our high.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's where we are. Listen, we need to take a break. We're doing something little off the beaten path for a Tuesday. We're going to go live on Fox Good Day today, so we will check in with the gang over there when we return. Then we have a few guests: Mark Summers, Whitney Cummings on the program too. Bizarre File coming up in a moment. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve
on 93.3 WMMR.
Barbecue 2022, Saturday, May 21st at BB&T Pavilion, starring Disturbed, The Pretty Reckless,
She's younger and she doesn't want to feel old.
Yeah,
or something like
that's
that?
how I see it. I see it as an older woman. So when somebody, I remember the first time somebody, he was a kid, probably a high school kid, called me ma'am, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I didn't tell him, don't call me that, but it made me feel old.
It's not.
Did he just say ma'am?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, I never.
Was it the word that set the teacher off, or was it the fact that the kid was repeating it over and over?
I don't know.
Well, it had to be the initial thing graded on her because she asked him to stop saying it.
Yeah.
But if he's used to saying it as a sign of respect to, like somebody in an authoritative manner, like then you just got to get that flag out of your butt and get over it, right, Press?
I would think so. Yeah, get the flag out of your butt.
Yeah.
Did I say that one day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hiking around the area, maybe on Friday, said hello to this young feller, probably 13 or 14. How are you? How's it going? Very well, sir. I'm like, yeah.
It's a title. It's a title.
We're not
This
doing-
kid walking along, that you come with me. I want to show other people what you just did because it was so good.
It's a title you've earned.
I earned it.
Hey, here's a text that says, women should know better than to call other women ma'am. I joke that they're traitors. And then she writes, it's well known that most women don't like it. What do you mean? How do you know that?
Because that extensive survey she took.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe amongst a handful of your friends or something. But what do you mean most women?
Yeah, but I would agree with that.
But how do you know most women?
Because anybody, I mean, just anyone that I know, it's not like I took a survey, but anyone I know would agree.
Then it's got to be everyone.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing, too. I think it's, no, but I do, like you said, it's regional. Do you know what I mean? It's
I can see that.
In the South, yes, they do that. They're here, not as much.
But I've born and bred at, Northeast, and ma'am to me was always a sign of respect. And I would say ma'am.
Or maybe is it an older thing? Like it,
I don't know.
I don't know. I just.
You keep going back to old.
No,
old
the standard thing would be pretty good, ma'am. Wouldst thou takest me?
But here's the deal. I think it's all about intent. And if you hear someone saying it clearly as a sign of respect, you should understand that they're just being polite.
Yes, of course. I'm not going to get mad at them, but it doesn't make me like it. It's still,
right.
I still think it's.
I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
One gosh darn bit. Looking at my activities list.
Oh, God.
No, I listen, and if it rings to your ear and you don't like it, you can simply say, "Oh, it's okay. You don't have to call me ma'am, or I'll punch you in the throat."
Yeah.
I would never read it as an insulting thing. That's a way to
It's your own fault for being old. Jesus Christ.
No,
What's with you and that aging thing?
It's not insulting. It's just we just don't like it.
And that's fine. But all right,
I
your
don't
personal
think
preference.
somebody saying it to me is insulting me.
All right, but what
But
do
I
you
just
want
don't
your
like
server? What do you want your waiter or waitress to call you when they go up
Sugar
to your
teas.
Yeah.
Young lady, maybe?
I'm lady.
Oh my God, she has to see my ID.
Now we're living in a
Now you're getting into pandering territory.
I haven't been underage for 38 years.
Wait, let me tell you something that happened on Saturday. I have to tell you this. So I went out for Preston. I went out for my birthday, and we went into the bar, and they were carding everyone as we were walking in. And me, I was with Elisa. You know, we're both 40, and she goes, "Oh, let's see if we get carded." So we walk up to him, we stand there, and he goes, "Hi." And so we were like, "Do you want to see your ID?" He goes, "Sure, if you want to hand it to me."
See, he did. There is a crap job available in San Francisco that's a complete waste, but it pays up to $185,000 a year for those who are interested. The city where Tony Bennett left his heart has an enormous feces problem.
There's a lot of poop there.
That has gotten so bad.
A lot of people are taking poops on the street.
Officials decided to create a poop patrol to clean up the streets.
Clean up the poop and the turds that are on the street that I love so dearly. I took a poop in San Francisco. Sing along if you know.
The 5-member team now.
I couldn't control it.
Walk up and down San Francisco.
Started with the shart and then I left my heart.
There it is.
In San Francisco.
Left my shart.
I took a shart. Then left my heart in San Francisco.
So they are now cleaning up human feces, and we're assuming other feces as well. Like
and vomit.
Animal feces, vomit.
And piss.
Yeah.
Can't forget piss. Piss, vomit, poop, it's all there on the streets of San Fran.
Thank you.
Where they got trolley cars and rice-a-roni.
Thank you, Tony Bennett, for...
poop.
Camel cars and rice-a-roni.
I miss that city.
Chinatown.
Yeah, they got poop-covered streets, piss everywhere, vagrants wandering around. It's wonderful. It's like Night of the Living Dead with hills.
The wharf is just covered in
Absolutely.
poop. Yeah, it's just beautiful. In case you've ever wondered whether Marilyn Manson was truly as evil as he makes himself out to be, there may be proof now. She said they can't find something illegal about what I say or do in my music. They just disagree with it morally because of their belief systems.
That's nonsense. I'm in the Satanic Church myself. And I'm about cleaning the poop off the streets of San Francisco.
That's right. Look at that.
Get off the guy's back.
You're not such a bad guy.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah, so he said they have to...
Just because I believe in the power of the Lord Satan doesn't mean you should think I'm evil.
I mean, after all, you're cleaning up poop.
Remember what the Joker said to Batman? They're both sides of different coins or something like that. I didn't stay really that long. I left once I ran out of snow caps.
He
bought the jumbo box too.
I go through them a lot. I love those things.
This is so weird. Just thinking about that. What would lead Tony Bennett to
I'm
comment?
in the Church of Satan too.
Maryland man. And poop and snow caps and Batman and the Joker. He's currently on tour with Rob Zombie with the Trek wrapping up.
I'm also a Nazi.
This week. I want to see what you think of this, Kathy. Kim Kardashian, Chrissy Teigen, Queer Eye's Tan France, and trans model Andreja Pajic are sporting some eye-catching new accessories. It's all in the name of Simon Huck's conceptual art experience called A Human, and it's already roiling social media. So Kim has a glowing necklace, and it looks like it's implanted in her skin.
But Preston, okay, and I wanted to ask you about this. It's clearly not an implant.
Right.
It is a flesh-colored thing made to look like an implant.
And it lights up, Kathy.
That freaks me out.
But you've got to see.
It gets worse.
Marissa, see if you can find. She's on social media, and there's a comment. She says it's glowing
lights up
to
like
my
my
heart.
heart.
And just her, and she looks like an android, dude.
To begin with,
I know
it's
like
so.
Preston.
It's such a shame.
She's got the lips like.
Yes. Yeah. Full on.
Let me see.
Full on constructed duck lips, so she doesn't have to make the
She doesn't
pout
have to do duck
anymore. It
lips.
does it
You're
automatically.
close to the beat of my heart.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this. And I'm like, who finds that? It's dysmorphia. We're looking at video. Look at this, Kathy. It lights up and it looks like it's under your skin.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Kind of wild.
Well, there's a couple of different ones, Preston. So Chrissy Teigen had one. There was a disgusting one that I think it might have been the trans model had, where it looks like almost like mushrooms growing out of their neck.
Oh,
yeah.
This is just somebody who has a lot of money, so is going to pay them to do this. This isn't going to be a fashion trend.
But you can't. You
I think
can't.
it'd be too expensive.
And
Yeah,
exactly.
no, it's not.
How would you pay to get this put on? It's got to be a fairly
And if
elaborate
it is,
process.
it's going to be so quick.
Well, now I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, guys.
Here's our fashionista.
Well, I mean, for the people who don't have that kind of money to spend on a glow necklace, okay, and that's all that is just a stupid glow necklace. What if it was like some sort of like thing that you could insert glow necklaces into, Kathy? Right?
What do you mean?
Yeah,
So you know what a glow necklace is, obviously,
The
right?
things
Like
you
glow,
crack?
yeah, the glow bracelets.
Yeah.
What if it was like just a vessel that was like decorative that you could insert the glow
And make it
necklace?
different colors?
Well,
I see what you're saying.
The
Not-
pitch here, though, is that it looks flesh colored. It looks like you have altered your skin.
You're saying not looking like it's implanted.
not like no, but accessorizing your glow necklace.
Like what Twinkie wore in Buck Rogers.
Here's the audio of her showing it off. Here we go.
My necklace glows like a heartbeat. It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
Oh my God! Shut up!
Oh, no,
My necklace glows like a heartbeat.
Wait.
It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
Oh my God. My heartbeat. Wait, Steve, what are you putting in your mouth?
Something to puff. Give me something to puff out my lips.
Give him something. Wait, you need like here. Hold on, I have something.
Do you have cotton or
tiny
something?
flashlight.
Steve was trying to put a flashlight in his mouth. Not a flashlight, a flashlight.
Yeah, right. We do have those.
Stick a flashlight in your mouth.
Try that, Case.
Try that.
What do you have? Yeah, okay.
Close to the rhythm of
Wait,
my
this is
heart.
too big. What do you think I am, a Watusi warrior here? What'd you give him?
Do you think somebody told her to say that, or is that all on
Well,
her
I'm sure
own?
she's getting paid for
Well,
it.
I know, but like where they like say it's,
Sure.
it's to your heart.
Close to the rhythm.
My necklace glows like a heartbeat. It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
You look like Bill Murray in where the giant plant when he goes to the dentist. Little Shop of Horrors. You look like
Little Shop of It goes to the beat of my heartbeat. It's right under my neck and it glows and it pumps to the heart of my heart. Glow, turn on my heart light.
It moves to the rhythm of my heartbeat.
Oh my God!
Shut up.
Yeah. Well, this person Simon Huck is a conceptual artist, so it's.
I'm a conceptual artist. And I want your neck to glow.
Stop it. Okay. They don't see that outside the bubble.
All right,
the
so
rest of the world is like, what are you doing?
I'm looking at one. Nick pulled this up. It looks like she has feathers growing out of her chest.
Yeah,
Yes.
Steve, this is Chrissy Teigen.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Nick, do you have the other ones as well?
Kind of cool.
This is no.
That's cool.
She only posted one.
I mean, listen. It looks like studio makeup done for a movie.
Yes.
For a horror movie.
Yeah, a horror movie or
Yeah,
some sort of
fantasy, sci-fi thing.
So why not be like the large singing plant from Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah. So meanwhile,
Seymour?
so Teigen, sported a featherhead breastplate, they called it, while Tan France wore a piece made to look like ruffled skin with bioreactive crystals, and Pajic wore horn-like sculpted shoulders. That's it.
Okay, so the one that looks like mushrooms growing here, if we can get that one, I think it looks kind of really like Casey. You don't like things that look like openings and circles and indentations in a body.
Wouldn't it be awesome for like the socially elite for it to become fashionable to wear like a horn out of your forehead?
But Preston,
Wouldn't that?
Like the
you're
Hunger
not
Games?
far.
Yeah.
Preston, the bagel thing.
Yeah.
The
implant.
Japanese were doing the bagel implants on the forehead.
But I'd like to see like a rhino horn coming out of their forehead. Oh my God.
Charge.
Rhino. That's so Rhino. All right, anyhow, the full exhibit of futuristic clothing-like objects inserted under the skin opens in New York City next week. The entrance fee to even see this stuff is $40 if you want to go check it out.
$40 to see these incredible expressions of self.
Mark, we'd like to put you to work this morning.
Yes.
The greatest host of game shows I've ever met.
Ever.
No
Well,
question.
you're very kind.
And so we need some callers on the line. And we are each here on the show going to play for a caller. You don't have to do anything. You just got to sit back and let the magic unfold and get ready to win some prizes as we play this.
Preston and Steve present Know the Show on WMMR. Kathy can't go to bed at night if there's anything on the floor. And Steve's got a bunch of Cub Scouts buried in the dirt behind his cellar door. Nick's effeminate. Marissa likes getting text messages with naked pictures attached. Casey boy squeezes pus out of his armpits, and Preston likes eating his own scabs.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have not done Know the Show in a long, long time.
Well, we usually refuse to do it unless Mark Summers can host it.
That is correct. And so the way this will work, the format is that Mark will have a statement that he'll say about each one of the members individually. He'll pick out a member and make a statement, and the rest of us try to answer a question that might be answered by that person. And each one of us, if we get it correct, we get a point. If we answer like-mindedly with the person that's being singled out.
A la the Newlywed Game.
A la the it's the same thing, actually. Yeah. In fact, this is the Newlywed theme music, I think, that we're playing.
We're ripping off everything we can.
Every bit. And if we'll have point totals, whoever has the most points, that person on the phone line who we are playing for is going to win a prize. If there's a tie, we'll give away a couple of prizes. That's the way it works. Mr. Mark Summers.
Thank you. No rehearsal. Sight reading. Here we go. Radio legend Preston Elliott, or El Scabo, as the people of his native Honduras refer to him, is a man of many talents who enjoys a plethora of hobbies. If Preston were told he must give up one of his cherished hobbies on the spot and never, ever indulge in it again for the rest of his life, which of the following three would he select? Is it golf, drumming, or cooking? You have 15 seconds to write your answers down. All right, time is up. And we're going to start with Casey Boy. Which one would he give up and never be able to do for the rest of his life?
Wow. This one was really tough. You got to eat or you're going to die. I would say you got to listen to music or you're going to die. So I went with golf.
Casey says golf. Steve, your reply is?
No, I had to think about these as well because I know that he adores golf, and though he's had some issues with his shoulder, drumming, the music is everything to him. However, there are other people who can cook for him, and so I say cooking.
Cooking. Two different answers. We move to Kathy.
I was the same as Casey. I said golf because I know that he has back and shoulder issues, and I think that would be the reason because it would hurt, and I don't think that he could give up drumming or cooking.
All right, so we have two golfs, and we have a cooking, and we're moving to Nick.
So I went with, because of the hearing issue, I thought that Preston would choose on a tactical situation to give up drumming for the rest of his life.
Interesting.
Yet another answer, and finally, Marissa.
I went with, I think most of the crowd went with, and I went with golf.
Golf, we have three golfs.
Wow.
Preston, what is the response?
If I were to have to give up one of them for the rest of my life, I'd have to go, I'm going to say, agree with Steve, I'd give up cooking. Somebody else can make that food for me. And even though I have shoulder and back problems, I still love the game of golf, and I'll never quit playing.
How's
golf.
your putts?
It's good. Have a tug.
Yeah, here, grab the shaft and you tell me.
Nice balls.
Got a couple balls? All right, so
And they're moist.
Steve got the lone point on that one.
Who's keeping score?
Casey is.
And who's our person who's won?
Well, it's going to be a total.
After the
It's
whole
going to be a
game.
total at the end.
All right.
So.
Question two. While Preston is known as a man of the people who often spends his spare time dispensing free croutons to the homeless, he is amazingly occasionally uncomfortable while in a one-on-one situation. Which member of the Preston and Steve cast will Preston say he is least at ease with when he sees them away from the show? Oh, my.
Wait, you got to ask that again.
Okay. So, who is the person?
You can leave out the crouton part.
No.
In English.
In English.
Okay.
Preston is least at ease. He's the most uncomfortable with which one of you when you're away from the show? So if you go to a
I'm
one-on-one
one-on-one situations.
Okay, and he knows all you guys for 100 years.
Yep.
If he came confront face-to-face at a barbecue, which one would he feel the most uncomfortable with? That is the question.
Who is he least at ease with away from the show?
You've got 15 seconds to answer this question.
I don't see Kathy writing. Chop, chop, chop.
Marissa, we'll start with you.
All right. I think Preston and Casey have a great bond. Preston and Steve, obviously the longest relationship here, plus Casey on top of that too. Kathy, you guys have the kids together. Nick, you guys have some bonds. I think it's me.
Really?
Yes, when we were out in London, Preston came to see me and my friends. He was there for like 30 seconds, and he was like, I gotta go.
Really?
So I guessed it was me.
Wow, yeah, and you're a little Miss Social Bug, so that's interesting. All right, Nick.
That's funny, Marissa, because I felt the same way about myself. And Preston's been with Steve for so long that I think you guys can talk.
Not in the biblical.
No, to each
sexual.
other about anything. They've done trips together with Casey, gone golfing and whatever. And then I just sort of defaulted to his relationships with Kathy and Marissa. So I'm going to refer to myself in the third person and say Nick.
And Marissa, I'm going to go over there to Casey next.
Yes, we all know that Preston and I share a nice bond with one another. We've had Valentine's dinners by ourselves.
Yes, you have.
We've spent a lot
Shared
of time
D-pics?
in hot tubs together and all that sort of stuff. So I definitely don't think that I'm the answer here.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, it's brought to you this morning by Horizon Services. You can book a tune-up for $59, lock in spring AC tune-up for only $39, and get a free safety inspection. You can visit horizonservices.com. We will start with this story. Police in York County made an unexpected discovery Thursday night when they pulled over a hatchback under suspicion of DUI. A 19-year-old woman pulled over around midnight. All right, she had hit a deer and apparently had loaded it into the back of her car.
Oh, this is Tommy Boy.
After hitting the deer, the 19-year-old and her passengers loaded it while it was still alive in their car.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I killed it!
After a short time, they had realized the deer was still alive. However, they continued to drive with the animal in the vehicle. It is directly out of Tommy Boy. Police, when that deer yells from the back seat, the best. It's awesome.
You know they caught this on camera, right?
No.
There's footage of this. Yeah, I believe they have dash cam footage.
Oh, excellent. Police released video. Yeah, here you go. Police released the video of the deer being unloaded from the car during the traffic stop and released back into the wild. It's unclear how badly the deer was hurt from the crash.
I gotta go to the bathroom, Daddy.
The 19-year-old driver was taken into custody as part of the DUI investigation. Now, remind me, in Tommy Boy, why did they put it in the car? Why did they feel they needed to do that? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
They just didn't want to leave it?
They didn't want to leave it. They felt bad that they killed it, and they
Right.
were crying over, the fact that they had killed this deer.
Yeah, that's the best. All right, this story's out of Alabama. A bizarre theft case lands a Mobile man in jail. Mobile police say they pulled over 60-year-old Michael McClellan Tuesday after an officer, and I saw a picture of this, saw him dragging a set of stadium bleachers behind his car.
Stadium bleachers.
And he had somehow or another strapped them to the back of his car with part of them dragging on the ground as he's driving around. And it happened in the middle of the day. The officer pulled him over at 12:22 p.m.
Well, they were just sitting there in the field.
McClellan was booked into the county jail about 45 minutes later and charged with theft of property in the first degree. According to investigators, the bleachers were stolen from Lions Park, and they have since been returned.
The balls.
Exactly.
Not even the cover of darkness. Broad daylight.
And what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
watch TV.
Yeah. A family woke up to a disturbing surprise on Christmas morning, and that was feces scattered on their child's picnic table, and her scooter was missing. The mother, who wishes to remain anonymous, said that she saw what happened after watching their Ring surveillance video. She
It was due to feces thrown all over the walls.
She said, my girls were laying in bed, way past bedtime, waiting to hear Santa and his reindeer land on the roof. My 5-year-old went outside the next morning and saw it. And she instantly told me not to worry, that it had been one of the reindeer that had pooped outside.
The reindeer took a dump.
She said, I wish she was right, but unfortunately we had a nasty mess to clean up. In the video, the man is seen walking up to the family family's porch, looking around, and then dropping his pants to defecate on the picnic table.
Santa?
The man moves around a few times before pulling up his pants, looking around, and then he spotted grabbing the scooter and riding away on it.
Is this a new Christmas tradition?
A neighbor found the scooter down the street, and they returned it, and they're still looking for this mystery pooper. Here's a follow-up story for you. After a former employee of AOK Walker Auto Works filed a complaint with state labor regulators in 2021 accusing the owner of failing to issue his final paycheck of $915, he got an unwelcome surprise, which is a mountain of 91,000 pennies covered in oil dumped in his driveway. You remember this?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, the worker, Andreas Flatten, may be having the last laugh. The U.S. Department of Labor has filed a lawsuit against the auto repair shop and owner Miles Walker after deciding that the stunt amounted to retaliation. According to the government's complaint, Walker decided to pay Flatten in pennies within hours of learning that he had contacted regulators over his missing paycheck. Walker had stated to the Labor Department in the alleged suit, "How can you make this guy realize what a disgusting example of a human being he is? You know what? I've got plenty of pennies and I'll use them." So a worker engaging with the Labor Department is protected under federal law, according to the agency. Workers are entitled to receive information about their rights in the workplace and obtain the wages they earned without fear of harassment or intimidation. The Labor Department also determined that Walker had illegally deprived other workers at the shop of overtime pay, as well as failing to keep proper pay and work records. And they're asking the U.S. District Court in Georgia to bar the defendants from any future breaches of the Fair Labor Standards Act, including retaliation and overtime violations. Okay. A hotel manager and
I just bumped that, but it came out pretty good.
You get that one more time.
How can she slap?
That's a guy saying, "How can she slap?"
Yeah.
A hotel manager in Zambia says that he was surprised.
How can she slap?
Okay, I don't know why I'm laughing. A hotel manager in Zambia says that he was surprised when he looked up from his desk and saw an elephant standing in the front lobby.
An elephant?
Apparently, the large...
How did an elephant get in my room?
The large animal had entered the building looking for snacks, and I saw the footage of this. So,
do you have Toblerone?
In some warm climates, like in Hawaii, the hotels don't have doors. Like they just
completely
have these
open air,
giant open areas, and you just walk in. So
perfect for an elephant.
That's what this elephant walked into. He apparently was looking for snacks, they said. Andy Hogg is the managing director of the Mfuwe Lodge in Zambia. And this isn't the first time that the lodge has had to deal with an elephant snooping around the premises. According to Hogg, he said he said we are careful to make sure that we don't have any fruit or food behind the counter for when the elephants come in. During the time
then the elephants come in.
During the time that the wild mango fruit is in season, we get elephants in the courtyard and in reception several times a day. It generally happens from late October through mid-December. Apparently, elephants are popular with visitors at the lodge. He said guests love it, and you can imagine, but we are very careful to keep them well back from the elephants and very safe. This particular elephant didn't cause problems and left without any incident, by the way.
Trying to get a room, double bed.
And there you go.
That's when the whores come in.
That is what I have in the bizarre file for you. All right, we will take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to our friend Mark Summers, see what he is up to. Also, he was a friend of Bob Saget as well, so we'll cover some of that ground on top of that. And we're going to have Whitney Cummings on the program a little bit later, too. She's coming to town, so we'll take a break and be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
You wake up with Preston and Steve.
I don't think it's Nick. Marissa, you had mentioned that it was you and your friends, but this question is about singularly. And
one-on-one.
One-on-one. And I think you and Preston have actually hung out and had some good times together as well. One night in particular, after a singles mix or something like that, you guys went out for entirely too long of a time.
Pitcher's Pub.
Yeah.
That's right. I need to know more details.
So I had to go with Kathy on this one.
Wow. That's shocking to me. All right, we're going to go to Steve.
All right, now we have had a long relationship, Preston and I, and it's we, till death do us part. Love Preston dearly, and we have there's a certain relationship we have that I don't think anyone can define. I think, like Casey, you and Preston share more in common than do we, Preston and myself. So I think everyone here has something more than I have, at least in that level. And I think we sort of keep a lot of what we share
for the studio,
for the
right?
show.
Yeah.
And that's why I said me.
Yeah. But that makes sense. I get that. And finally, Kathy.
So, like everyone but Casey, they chose themselves,
Yes.
which is also what I did.
You did.
I thought it was me.
Isn't this telling?
What does this say about me? You guys all think I don't like you.
No. It's not about not liking.
I think it's like everyone else better.
Yeah. So tell me, Preston.
All right. I'm going to tell you with an explanation and a follow-up as well.
They don't have that much time, so...
The guys are off the hook because I am more uncomfortable with attractive women when I'm alone with them. So there's that. And
So what are you saying?
we have two beautiful women that work here, even though they're very, very good friends of mine. That doesn't change that fact.
Right.
And this person that I would feel, I'd have to say, God, it's not that I don't feel uncomfortable with any of you. No, but having to choose, having to pick one, there's one that I kind of seek approval from because she's so great at what she does and a perfectionist in this business, and it's Marissa.
Wow.
So it's important to me what she thinks of me, and so therefore I would be a little nervous. Now listen, about that night in London, I'll tell you what it was. I showed up, you had all your friends there, you didn't introduce me to any of your friends, and you didn't say who I was, and I was kind of mad about that.
Wow. The truth comes out.
Yeah. I am
If we're
so
going to
sorry.
be totally honest, that's why I closed down.
And it nagged at him for months.
Till this
Marissa.
very moment.
Oh my God.
No.
How could you? How could
And
you?
waiting in the waiting room is a therapist to work with both of you.
I'm sorry,
Dr.
Preston.
Joyce Brothers.
I guess I didn't want to be like, hey guys, this is Preston.
But
you guys know Preston.
Your lack of decorum has won you the point. So there you go.
There you go. Nice job.
That's the point.
We're moving over to Steve Morrison right
We'll
now.
hug later.
All right. A little known fact about the enigma that is Steve Morrison is that his great-grandparents on his father's side lost their lives to Titanic, both having choked to death on Twizzlers during a matinee showing. With that in mind, if Steve was Rose from the movie Titanic floating on that door with room for only one member of the Preston and Steve show, who would he save?
Wow.
Man.
All right. 15 seconds to write your answer down. That's hysterical.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was easy.
That was easy, huh?
Easy.
I wrote it down right away.
Oh, I can't wait to get there. Okay, we're going to start with you, Kathy. Who is it?
Okay, so after today's conversation, if we were on the Titanic, we would have had to pack in suitcases or in a hotel room, a little tiny hotel room you have to share with somebody. We had no idea that this was going to go down. So he is going to save me for sure.
Oh.
Great reasoning.
Wow. I like the part about going down. Steve.
I'm last.
Steve.
He's last.
Yes.
He goes last. So
That's right.
Yeah,
Nick, I'm sorry.
I'm going with basic math here, and Steve is going to need more room, so I'm going with the tiniest member of the Preston and Steve show, Marissa, so they can both fit on the door.
Wow. Okay,
All right.
Marissa, we'll go to you.
Well, the true Steve Morrison would actually give up the door and let two other people
very
go.
nice.
Just as
You're
Steve.
right. Oh, my.
She's
Because
right.
this is a hypothetical, I also agree with Nick, and it would be me just for size reasons. That's it.
Size matters. Okay, Preston.
Okay. This might be a little selfish, but without Preston, there ain't no Preston and Steve show. And we still have a future to think about after this horrible tragedy. Well, I'm saying me.
All right.
Yes.
Casey?
So I would think like right after everybody got rescued, Steve would go back to work the very next day, and it wouldn't sound good to have the Casey and Steve show or the Kathy and Steve or Nick and Steve and Marissa and Steve. It can only be Preston and Steve.
Yeah, Robin Preston's dead, so that wouldn't work. Okay. And finally, Steve.
All legitimate reasons, but I
Yes.
had to break it down on survival, likeliest to survive in the situation. Both Kathy and Casey are swimmers. Casey has saved my life here in the studio, but they are both capable swimmers. Preston is very resourceful and could survive, I think. Nick as well. And for the person I think who would be in the most dire situation vis-a-vis their size and lack of insulation, Marissa.
Just because you guys would all be fine on your own.
Not to dismiss Nick's point of extra elbow room on the door.
Nick and Marissa.
Nick and Marissa both answer.
Yeah. All right, what's the point total so far, Case?
I think I have Marissa has 2, Nick has 1, Steve has 1.
All right.
Though if we were packing the way we do talk about, Kathy would have a certain edge.
Steve's love for the world of movies is exceeded only by his love of the world of porn. Disregarding the porn movies, what will Steve say is the one movie franchise he could not and would not live without?
Oh.
15 seconds. Boy, you all seem to know this pretty darn quick. That's interesting. We are going to start with Marissa.
All right. There was an obvious answer, but I didn't go with that one because I'm guessing most of you guys went with it. So I'm just going with Batman.
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 Very nice.
Okay.
Casey, what did you say?
Oh, I went opposite because there have been so many. I know that you love Batman, but you want to have sex with James Bond.
James Bond. Preston.
Kind of the same thing. I know there's so much. Although Connery was his favorite, and Roger Moore did a whole lot of those movies, but I still think he's got a huge fascination with James Bond.
All right.
Yep.
Nick?
Marissa, your answer made me think twice, but I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to go with James Bond as well.
All right.
Kathy?
I just said overall Marvel.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So Steve, the answer is
James Bond.
there you go.
Yes.
What is your fascination with Bond?
Since Bond, my father took me to Dr. No when it came out when I was just super young, and there have been many movie franchises, consistent franchises that have influenced my life, but Bond has been, marathon after marathon after marathon has been just at the core of my life.
Favorite Bond
Batman
movie?
is my... Whoa. Okay, so the one that is the quintessential is probably considered Goldfinger.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My favorite, Connery's my favorite Bond, followed by Daniel Craig, followed by...
Daniel Craig, really?
Right, followed by George Lazenby and Roger Moore. Roger Moore has 2 good Bonds, would be 3, Live and Let Die, For Your Eyes Only, and Spy Who Loved Me. And Timothy Dalton. They're all good. They're all good.
Yeah, all right. So where are we here now?
Casey.
Whoever you want to go to.
Casey.
All right.
All right.
We're going to do the list of show legends regarding Casey is long, and in many cases embellished, including things such as him saying bubble scubosis instead of multiple sclerosis and being terrified of his home thermostat. This is the first time I'm reading this stuff.
I never said multiple sclerosis.
That's it. It's her saying. It's a false legend.
Which embellished legend about Casey will he say he would love to have go away once and for all? 15 seconds.
Listen.
What embellished legend about Casey will he say he wants to go away and never brought up ever again?
I predict everybody is going to get this one. This is going to be a 5 for freaking 5 here.
We're going to start with Steve.
There's even in writing this question, I knew it might be a gimme, but we had to go with it just to give Casey the chance to dispel some rumors about himself, including bubbable scabosis and his thermostat. Ranch dressing.
What is it?
His love of ranch dressing.
Ranch dressing. Okay, very good. Kathy.
Yep, love of ranch dressing on pizza, all ranch
Really?
dressing. He loves it.
Nick?
Ranch dressing.
Oh, my, this is me. Marissa?
Because he didn't invent it, ranch dressing.
Preston.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's unanimous.
And we will go to the gentleman himself.
It's not my go-to, okay, guys? It's not my favorite dressing.
What is it about ranch dressing that you like?
It is actually pretty yummy with pizza.
Do you have the isolated audio of just you freaking out anywhere, Kay, so we could play it for Mark, just so he has an idea?
I don't know. You know what?
We don't have to play the whole thing.
The crowd loves that idea, Preston.
See if wait, hang on a second. It's recording. All right.
Yeah, why did that happen?
Yeah, there was a moment on the show where we brought up the fact that Casey was dipping his pizza in ranch dressing.
Thank God it was a pizza.
And yes,
there was a question as to whether that was calorically wise.
Yeah, here we go.
Can I make a suggestion without being insulting?
Yes.
Try pizza without ranch dressing.
Listen, you a-holes. When was the last time you saw me with ranch dressing?
Okay, can I jump?
And by the way, I don't always eat pizza with ranch dressing. I didn't invent it. It is something that I tried like within the last year. All right?
Okay.
Drop the friggin' ranch dressing. Drop it.
I will say this. I have seen you eat pizza at last 6 or 7 times.
Hear a little bit more of this.
Without dressing.
Did you say 6 or 7 times?
Well, I have not seen him have dressing on his pizza in quite a while.
And it's not something I invented. It was like I tried it because I saw a girl with a nice frame. As a matter of fact, tried to like ranch dressing on your pizza. All right, I'll try it. And then he did it like 6 times. And next thing you know, I'm making ranch dressing pizza sandwiches or something. Shut up!
It's still just as funny.
Oh, my. I've never heard you so whacked.
Can I get a point for that easy question?
One of my all-time favorite moments on the show.
We need to move on. In many ways, Casey is sort of an ongoing lab experiment producing flatulence at an alarming rate. Who will Casey say is the one show member he takes the most joy farting in front of?
Oh, my
Joy?
God.
The most
Joy. And you don't end a sentence with a preposition, by the way. But who does he enjoy farting in front of the most? Gee whiz.
All right.
Got
I'm
it down
in.
there?
I'm
You're
good.
in? Everybody's in? We're going to start with you, Preston.
Now, initially I was going to say me, but I don't think that happens anymore because I'm disgusted by it. It bugs me, and he will do it sometimes in front of guests that we have in here. Oh yeah, out loud.
It's the
and
ranch
I'm like,
dressing.
dude, come on, stop it. And oh my God, Mark, some of them are they're deadly. But I think he gets a kick out of actually doing it in front of Kathy more than anybody else. I think he finds that funny, but that's my guess.
Marissa.
That was my initial guess, Preston, was Kathy, but I thought he actually, like, deep down gets embarrassed to do it.
Because I think he was going to be here this week.
That was the plan.
Things changed, but he's a class act. He's like, let's get together and
Absolutely.
talk. So why
He's
not
the Cary Grant of our time.
You know what? I never really thought of it that way, but he is the Cary Grant of our time.
That's a new one.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. Mark Summers is on the show this morning. Hey, Mark.
Boys and girls, how are you? I miss you guys. How's everything?
We miss you too. It's cold. It's chilly. Not like I'm sure what you're experiencing in California, but, it's the nature of being in Philly,
48 degrees outside here right now. Not so bad.
All right, yeah, we're in the teens. I'll say this though, you're looking damn good, my friend. We're looking at the Zoom screen here. You look like you're in shape and all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say.
I've lost some weight. I lost about 16 pounds. I've been, I walk every day. I do a 5-mile walk every day because what else do I have to do? And my wife has decided to go on a diet, and I went on the diet with her, and it's helping both of us. So I feel good. I just wish this damn thing would be over like everybody else,
Right. I saw you the other day. There was, I think it was on BuzzFeed. They do all kinds of lists and so on. It was like, these 90s Nickelodeon stars, what they looked like then and what they look like now.
Oh, yes. Mark has ended up as clickbait.
Totally.
Where you won't believe, in other words, suggesting what a mess he looks. But it's never that. It's always you click on it, and a lot of times the person featured in the tease is not even featured in the slideshow or the article. It's a scam, Mark.
You know it's a slow news day when they're either doing that or showing my Burt Reynolds thing for the 172nd time. It's unbelievable.
That never gets old.
Do you? That's sort of timeless. I mean, I'll check that out. There are some perennial YouTube videos that I'll hop in. Do you yourself ever take it out for a spin, or you were there, you did it? Does it hold any interest to you?
Every now and then I go in and look at the comments, and of course everybody thinks it was a setup deal. So I get into debate sometimes with people trying to explain to them how it absolutely happened in real time and there was no rehearsal and no setup. But, people believe what they want to believe. All of the election was stolen. So, you can't talk to stupid.
Right.
Hey, we wanted to touch base, and it's a somber note, obviously, but Bob Saget passing suddenly, unexpectedly. The tributes have been, it speaks for itself because we had a connection with Bob, and he was, we couldn't wait to see him anytime he was coming by because he was just a great talker, but B, just just a sweetheart of a guy. And you guys went way back, right?
Yeah, the Comedy Store days, we started, I was there a few years before. I started in 76. I think Bob started around 78. when I was doing the warm-ups on Soap in the studio to the left of me was Barney Miller, and Dave Letterman was doing the warm-ups on that, and the studio to the right of me was Bosom Buddies, and Bob was doing warm-ups on that. So we go way back. One time we were in a charity event, and he had his 3 daughters who at the time were very young and were big Nickelodeon fans, and he said, I wanted to to my kids that I actually knew you. So we go back, I don't know, 40 years, I guess it is. Yeah, and this one hit me so hard. You know, he's 5 years younger than me. Yeah. Our last text I was looking was December 22nd. I've been filling in doing radio here in Los Angeles and been booking guests on, and I wanted to book him, and he thanked me, said he was on his way to Mexico with the family, so he wouldn't be able to do it, but if it pops up again, to give him a call. I said, travel safe. He said, thanks, man. I get choked up here. And you know, it just doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is just, it's just, and when you read the tributes, you know, the impact that this man had on a generation was absolutely mind-boggling. But the thing that hit me the most was, I was just watching Jimmy Kimmel's comments. I don't know if you saw it. Yeah. But he was the nicest guy ever. I mean, his TV persona, was one thing, and his club act was something totally different. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line was the most amazing guy. And the reason I wanted to have him on the radio show was because he was friends with everybody. But the one that I was blown away by is he was dear, dear friends with Norman Lear. And I wanted to ask him, how did that happen? You know,
he had interesting ties. I remember seeing a story, and I asked him about it as well when he was on. He was doing the later show with Tom
Snyder.
No. Oh man,
James Corden.
No, Bob Costas.
Okay,
and they were talking. They spent a lot of time and they were talking about Bob's close friendship with Larry Fine of the Three Stooges, and so he had this ability about him to make friends with almost everybody.
And I imagine that Bob seemed like, you know, talking to him, that he was the kind of guy who would cultivate that would actively say, I would like to be friends with Larry Fine, and then make it happen.
Yeah.
Larry Fine was at the retirement home for entertainers in Woodland Hills, California. And if I would have known that, I would have been down there in a nanosecond. You know who had a very close relationship with Larry was Tom Bergeron. Wow. Tom Bergeron used to call Larry Fine when he was doing radio, I think in New Hampshire, and got him on the phone and got him to expose many things that nobody knew about him and the Three Stooges at one point. So, you know, if you're smart enough to figure out where these people are, it was my relationship with Soupy Sales. I got to know Soupy intimately through the industry, and we became very, very tight friends. And, you know, when I tell that to people, they go, oh my God, how did that happen? I was just in the right place at the right time. We hit it off together. The first time we met, I lied to him. He was playing the Playboy Club in Boston. I was going to college. I got a hold of him and said I was doing a documentary on what makes people laugh. Wasn't true at all. I just wanted to meet him. And from there, we met again at the Comedy Store in around 77, 78. And our friendship continued until he passed away. So I feel really fortunate to have that relationship. But Saget was friends with everybody, and nobody had a bad thing to say about him. Mm-hmm. And this one is just mind-boggling that this, I don't know. I'm sure it was just a heart attack. That's what it sounds like. They say it'll take 10 to 12 weeks to figure out what his actual cause of death was. But you know, I don't know. This one's
No, it's a complete sucker punch. After a sucker punch that, for me, you know, Norm Macdonald was someone, along with many others, that I revered. Or just, you know, just the absolute state of the art in economy of language and humor, and just brilliant. And when that happened, Preston had a moment with Neil Peart, from the drummer from Rush, was like, what? We hadn't even heard anything, or David Bowie, and then they're gone. In the case of Saget, though, last night, I took the opportunity to revisit his telling of the Aristocrats joke in the documentary, which is just nonstop, unrelenting hilarity, perversion, just beyond. Even he can't believe where he's taking it. The interviewers are laughing, and it's just one of those great moments. But that same guy, as we are going through this experience, to sort of have the revelation of just how much he meant to so many people, I have to say, I knew it. You know, we had a good friendship with him. We knew that he was obviously a pop culture icon. But again, that Danny Tanner character for so many people on that show served as sort of a default father figure. And so I think that's why we're getting so much of the repercussions. I mean, the ripple of this moment is really kind of eye-opening, and it makes you appreciate him that much more.
It does. Earlier in the day, I lost Dwayne Hickman. Dwayne played Dobie Gillis and many other things on television, and I exec produced the last movie he did over at CBS. And I hadn't talked to him in years, but and I was also shocked how old he was. He was 87 years old, which was somewhat shocking to me because he looked young for so long and acted so young. And so that started, and then Saget happened. And then Johnny Carson's brother, Dick Carson, died the same day.
Yeah.
And then you had, Betty White and Sidney Poitier. It's like 2022 sucks already. Let's stop this,
Yeah. Listen, it's to paraphrase the saying, no one gets out of this alive. But when it does happen, and it is especially to people that have been at the center of so much of what we've enjoyed. You bring up Soupy Sales for crying out loud. My childhood was Soupy Sales. I mean, so much of that means so much to you, and it's hard to articulate it. But you certainly feel the loss when it's gone, and that's what we're dealing with right now.
I was texting with Sajak last night, and he said he checks the in memoriam segments on TV shows to make sure he's still alive.
Didn't he get a false report? Wasn't there a false Sajak death reported? Somebody eventually. I think you live long enough and you get your fake obituary or your incorrect obituary. I remember Abe Vigoda. They told
yes.
He's legitimately
dead.
That
he wasn't dead a few times.
He had to declare he wasn't dead.
Yeah, I remember that. But you know what, Mark? It's one of the things that we're seeing by this outpouring of all this love for him. Do you think that he knew that he touched people in that way? I certainly hope so.
I think so. I believe that. And he went out of his way to say, I love you, or always a compliment. If I went through the texting thing with him recently, there was always a compliment at the end. I hope you're doing well, or be well, or take care of yourself, or hope your family's well. And I always felt it was sincere. And everybody says the same thing. I was reading an executive at Fox last night on Facebook, I guess it was, and he said, thank God we saw each other last week and we told each other we loved each other. And I think that's what it does. It opens up that you better say it now because you never know kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of friends doing that over the last 24 to 48 hours, and it's just something we should learn.
Yep, I agree. Hey, I wanted to ask you about this radio show that you're doing in Los Angeles, because I follow you on social media, and I'm like, wow, all right, moving on to radio now. How did this come about?
Well, I was sitting home because what else have I been doing? And I get a phone call from a KFI, which is, according to them, the #1 talk station in the country. And they said, you want to start doing weekends? And I went, oh, okay. What makes you think I can do this? Well, we, think people would be interested in hearing you. So I did a Saturday night, couple hours, and it went well. And they kept asking me back. And then I get a phone call mid-December. Would you like to do the last week of December, drive time 2 to 6? Now, doing 2 to 6 on Los Angeles radio on a KFI iHeartMedia station versus 8 to 10 on Saturday night is huge.
Yeah.
So they said, do you want to do 2 hours or 4? And I said, what's the difference? They said, you get paid the same whether you do 2 or 4. I said, I'll do 4. So I start the week by saying, this is the no COVID, no politics zone. And I actually just interviewed people. That's the reason I called Saget. I just wanted to interview him. Yeah. And I found a guy by the name of GT Dave, who started Kombucha. I interviewed him. I interviewed Michael Simon. I interviewed Robert Irvine. So I do this Monday, 4 hours of interviews. And Tuesday morning, I get up at 6:30 in the morning, and there's an email from the assistant program director saying, these are the topics we want you to talk about today. And it was, Fauci and Ghislaine Maxwell and things like that. And so being the guy that I am, I ignored it and went on Tuesday and did 4 hours of interviews with other people. And Wednesday, when I get to the station, I'm met at the door by the assistant program director, who hands me 40 pages of paper and says, these are the things we want you to talk about today. And of course, I ignore them. And Wednesday, I do my show. And as I'm driving home now, it's 2 hours to the station because I live in Santa Barbara. So it was 2 hours down to LA, 4 hours on the air, 2 hours back. It was 5 to 9. My phone rings in my car. I'm almost home. And it was the real deal. It was the guy in charge. charge. And I said, hey, what's going on? And there was 10 minutes of small talk. And I said to him, hey, look, I've been in the business like over 40 years. If the general manager or the program director calls you at home or in your car at 9 o'clock at night, it's not good news. And he said, well, you're doing a great job. We love your interviews, but you're killing me. And I said, what does that mean? He said, we have the best 25 to 54-year-old demos in the country. And I went, you mean people under 50 actually listen to AM radio? And he said, well, you'd be surprised. I said, well, okay. Yeah. And he said, tomorrow you can do 2 hours of interview, but the other 2 hours you're going to talk about COVID, Fauci, the insurrection, and Ghislaine Maxwell. And I said, yeah, Neil, that's not happening. And he said, you refuse to do it? And I said, that's right. And he said, you're fired. I said, okay. And that's the end of my radio career here back in
Really? Oh, man. Well, it's first off, that's so we have adopted that same philosophy over the past couple of years of staying. Listen, you know where to go if you want to talk about that, or that's part of your deal. We want to be the break from that, and that's served us well. And from what we can gather, people come up and say thank you for staying away from that stuff because you get sick of being sick. So, but the fact that they knew what you were about, multi-decade career in show business. You know,
he said to me, you should really have a discussion about this. And I said, look, my whole career has been throwing green liquids at 11-year-olds and talking about the history of Tootsie Rolls. Nobody cares what I have to say.
Right.
You know? And he said, no, I really think you should do it. And I just said, yeah, that's never going to happen. And he said, we had a guy on the station recently like you who we really liked, but he didn't fit into our format. So we got him a job in Texas. I said, I'm not looking for a radio job and I'm not moving to Texas, for $350 a day. I'm just doing this to have fun.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't meant to be. And that's fine. Luckily I'm in a position where I don't need the job. And I thought, well, this would be entertaining. And the other thing was, as soon as I hung up the phone, I went on social media and there were many comments there saying, wow, KFI ought to hire Mark Summers on a full-time basis. This is the best radio I've heard in years. So I just took screenshots of those and sent it to him. Never heard from him again. But,
well, first of all, Mark, good for you for sticking with your principles and not, doing something that you didn't want to do. Second of all, did you ever consider maybe getting drunk for the day and doing some kind of stunty type of a thing where you would have a host come in and that, because that gets ratings.
Yeah,
right.
I can't imagine that ever happening on real radio.
Real, quote unquote, real radio.
Well, let me ask you with that. If you enjoyed it, I mean, obviously there's you could enter there's a small amount of podcasts available
now.
What
is this thing called?
I think there's maybe last count. What Preston 2 years ago they had them at 860,000 separate podcasts. Yeah. So why don't you jump into the fray?
Well, you know what? I've been asked to do it 1 million times, and I've said no 1 million times. And I'll do the reveal here. I finally got talked into it, okay, reluctantly. I've recorded 2. My first guest was Guy Fieri. My second one was Anthony Ramos. And we're shooting more in the next couple of weeks. But I was talking to Bobby Flay about it, and he said, how many are you going to shoot before you release these? And I said, we're going to try 10. He said, don't bother. You got to do 100 before anything happens. And once again, I'm not sure I want to work that hard. So we're going to release these things, throw them up on the see what happens. But it's work. When I was doing the radio show, I would book my own guests, and then I would do my own research. So when I got home Monday night, I sat at the kitchen table for 2 to 3 hours and did research on my guests for the next day.
Right.
As I got more respect for you guys than ever before, and I always love what you did. But this ain't easy to get on the radio and talk for 4 hours a day. You don't just walk in the studio and do it. It takes a lot of prep, and I don't think people understand that.
For your podcast, so if you can do it at your leisure, you can knock out a couple a week and do that. If you're looking for something to do,
Yeah, I've got Linda Lavin booked next. I'm trying to think of a few other people, but we'll see. Joe Rogan owns that world. He makes bazillions of dollars doing it. He books guests that I pretty much wouldn't listen to, but I'm apparently wrong and in the minority. I just don't know. When people contact me now and say they want me on their podcast, I always say, send me 3 questions I've never been asked, and if you can do that, I'll do your podcast. And most people just don't even respond to that. But, after a while, you do get a little tired of telling the Burt Reynolds story and, how you got hired at Nickelodeon. It's the same 10 questions over and over again.
What's it like to get slimed?
Mark, you mentioned Guy Fieri, and we used to have him on pretty regularly. It's been a while since we've had him on our show. I so commend what he did for so many restaurants during the pandemic. He raised a lot of money for people who really needed it. How are things in his world, and what were you guys chatting about?
Well, we texted about Saget. I didn't realize he was friends with Saget, and I saw it online. I texted him right away and said, it's just so sick that none of us call each other anymore. We just text each other. He's doing fine. He's somehow, he got COVID, I guess, quickly and was not affected by it. He's been on the road this whole time. He's got a new show out where he has this franchise restaurant of his called Chicken Guy, and they're giving away a franchise online. They shot that. And he's in production with Guy's Grocery Games and everything else. He seems to be fine. He just bought a house in Florida. He's being honored down at South Beach Food and Wine this year for all the things he's done for the restaurant tour. So he's kind of lived his life like nothing's happened, and good for him. I applaud him.
It's amazing. He sort of slaloms in and out. Like he became, he was kind of the hip, trendy guy, the star in that realm, and then it sort of became in vogue to dump on him for some reason, and then he came back. He just moves forward and seems to keep on keeping on, so to speak. And that it's cool to watch the way he operates, because recently there were videos of Sylvester Stallone and Pacino hanging out, and who's right in between them? Guy Fieri. He's loving life. He has no reason to apologize.
No, and he doesn't listen to the BS. He doesn't read it. He doesn't listen to it. He doesn't care about it. He's focused beyond anybody I know. He just signed this new 3-year, insanely expensive deal over at Food Network, and good for him. He's a good guy. I always say if I got stuck on Highway 15 at 2 a.m, Guy Fieri would drive down and pick me up. He's just that kind of a person. He's very much like Saget, where it makes no difference. Sometimes he'll just send me a text. He'll say, "Hey, Summers, I miss you. I love you." Just out of nowhere.
It's nice.
So, our experience is that anytime he's been on or in, he kind of treats us like we're old friends, and I like that. And I've actually have been to 3 of his Triple D restaurants that he's featured. One of them was such a dive. I walked in and I go, no, I'm not doing this one. And then I walked out, and then I just hopped onto the website because I was in Vegas. So I went to this pizza place that I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this. And then I ended up going to a barbecue joint that he had recommended that wasn't too far from this pizza place. But he really does. He posts all these things on the website. So if you're ever in a city, and you're like, man, where should I eat? Yeah. Go to the Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives website, and you every single one that he's ever been to is on there.
Think of what that means to a small bit. Again, supporting small businesses. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I went to I forget the name of the barbecue joint, but it was something about roadkill. Drive, or it was Mark Summers Roadkill Stand or something like that, and I'm telling you, man, it was amazing.
Best roadkill you ever had.
The best roadkill barbecue I'd ever had in my life.
Well, the thing about him is he's brutally honest, and there are times I've been told by the crew that if he walks in and it's not right or it doesn't taste right, he just doesn't do it because he doesn't want to lie to the people who've been following him for all these years.
Yeah.
So I admire and appreciate that as well. He's just not a talking head. He's got a brain and he uses it, and I think that's why you can trust whatever you see that he writes about these various places. I did escape for 2 days. Bobby Flay opened up a new restaurant in Las Vegas, and I went. Freaked me out, like nobody's wearing masks and whatever, but the food was spectacular. And in the middle of all this chaos, Bobby opens a new restaurant, and you couldn't get into it. So if you get to Vegas, check it out. It's at Caesar's Palace.
Well, all right. So on that note, the Bobby's Burger Palace here in Philadelphia closed down, and I'm bummed out because it is like the best burger I've ever had in my life, and is gone now, and so I don't have that to go to anymore. So if you talk to him, tell him that I want him to open up another one, preferably if you could do it in Delaware County so I don't have to drive into the city for that.
That sounds like a viable.
I don't know if he's taking requests or not.
He's got a new one in Caesars, and he's changed the name a little. I don't know what it's called. It's not Bobby's Burger Palace anymore, but there's like only 10 or 12. He's just sort of Bobby's an amazing guy. He's my mentor. During all this chaos, nobody worked harder. He opened up a cat food company, which is crazy. He called me up and said, do you remember Morris the cat? I said, yeah. Well, my cat Nacho is going to take that thing. So he's opened that. His businesses are constantly moving and changing. He's doing his podcasts. Nothing gets this guy down at all. And I admire people like that. I've gone through some major depression during this whole thing. I think most people I know have. And I admire guys like Flay who can just move forward and somehow it doesn't affect them. I don't know how they do it.
By the way, Mark, while you guys are talking, I came up with 3 questions I don't think you've ever been asked before.
Oh, okay, go.
Okay, so what is the major export of Ecuador?
Okay.
What does fried lizard taste like? And have you ever had a zit on your balls? Have you ever been asked those?
I'll do your podcast.
There you go. We got him. We got Summers.
The zit on my balls did happen, but that's a whole other story. We can't go to it right now.
Yeah, just that you haven't been asked those before.
Isn't that a rite of passage?
Never once, and that's what I want people to be creative, and you were creative, and that's why you're a success.
Not to get. Go ahead.
Just thank you for not putting our show through the vetting process of all these other podcasts. We appreciate it, Mark. And Casey, there's a Bobby's Burgers in Yankee Stadium.
I'm not going up there.
Well, it's the closest one. Vegas, Yankee Stadium.
With as as careful as you have been as far as contact with other people and so on, have you been ordering out or anything like that? Do you do DoorDash or any of these delivery services or anything?
I do all the delivery services. I have not, other than Flay's Place, I've not eaten inside a restaurant. It's always outside. We've been basically hermits. We haven't done much of anything. We have not socialized with other humans. I did do one thing, which I still can't believe I did. I got called by our friends at Discovery to go produce a spot in Austin, Texas about 4 weeks ago. And I was really reluctant, but I had not been out of the house. And as I was driving to the airport, it said, if you're over 60 and immunocompromised, don't get on a plane. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. But I went and did it. I got in Wednesday night. Everybody in Austin was wearing a mask. We shot the thing Thursday. I got in the plane Thursday night and came back, got tested right away afterwards just to make sure I was okay. But that's like the most daring thing I've done during the 2 years of COVID.
Now, I know you're a foodie, obviously, with your background and everything, and you've suggested restaurants to me and they've been out of this world. Have you delved more into cooking on your own since being, in the 4 walls?
That's all we're doing. I'm the king of barbecue here because my wife somehow can't figure it out, but everything else she does well. And we've gone to the web. Everything we've made that's been Flay, Ina Garten, or Alex Bernicelli has been off the charts.
Ina is so great. I almost always gravitate on Food Network on the website to her recipes. They're usually pretty easy, and they always taste fantastic.
They're amazing. And I had forgive me, I'm sounding like a name-dropping idiot today, but we cooked some chicken dish of hers and it didn't come out right. And I emailed her and said, what did we do wrong? And it's great to be able to talk to the source and find out exactly what's going on. But 99 and 44 100% of her dishes are just off the charts, and she is the go-to person for us. It's just amazing food.
Wasn't I reading that you made some waffles and it was the Pope's recipe and you emailed him? And why am I not tasting the cinnamon?
He did. He said, I told you once, I told you twice. Don't call me no more. And the fact that he's Polish having times like that is amazing.
I default to that as well because it just seems like the way the Pope talks. No matter what the accent is, you're going to go with that.
And I think our Pope now is I think
Argentinian.
Argentinian, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
He's not Polish
doesn't
anymore.
matter.
He likes waffles.
Somehow this Jewish guy isn't up on what the Pope. Forgive me. Forgive me, Father, I have sinned. What can I tell you?
Nice. Well, listen, my friend, great to catch up with you. Sorry about the radio gig, but you let us know what else is coming up in your world. We love having you on anytime, man.
All right, listen, I'm back in Philly, supposedly without COVID in April, and we'll do it live in person at that time. Thanks for your support throughout the years, and I love you guys.
Love you too. Mark Summers. And he's right. He's right. Yeah. Tell those people that you love them. You love them. That you love them because.
Also, tell the people you dislike that you dislike. If you leave, cast off this mortal coil without telling someone
how much
they're
you hate
a scumbag.
Yes.
You don't want that.
No, you can't leave that hanging.
You want to tie up everything.
They need to know.
I need you to know I hate you so much.
Let me ask you, though.
Okay.
I mean, suppose you are given a specific time, right? Or timeline.
Like you're on death row.
Something like that. Is there one or two people that you wouldn't mind saying, hey, go F yourself? Yeah.
You know what?
I can't think of anybody right now, but I mean, I might take that opportunity in a lighter way to say, hey, you were, you did this to me.
Yeah.
And I think you need to know, hopefully it will better you as a person to not do that type of thing anymore, if you're going to offer it up that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have any straight FUs I can think of.
No, none that I can think of.
I've let him go. I've let him go. You know, like I always, a while ago, I adopted the philosophy, and I've said it to you, Casey, a number of times. The person who is that way, who is just horrible, they're already imprisoned by themselves. They're trapped in themselves. So what am I going to do that's going to make it,
well, resentment can be a real bitch, right? You know, so if you hold any resentment, like what I think the worst part about it is if you, let's say you hold a resentment at one or two people and they don't even get, you're not even a third or fourth or fifth thought. It's like, well, who, like, you're killing yourself.
Sometimes you need to do it for yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to confront that person for your own growth. And for that, I would say, yeah, absolutely. Just to get it out there.
Cathartic as part of therapy and things like that. I mean, it really is your deal. If you can get the situation where you can be walking away from the car as it blows up.
Yeah.
And
You can also come to terms with not having to do that.
Right.
But if you can't, then tell them you hate them. Tell them they suck.
Right.
F you.
Sleep with their mother.
And then do something like that. Yeah. All right.
Look at these shots.
We need to take a break because we've got a guest coming up. But I do want to remind you, we have a new Daily Rush video. Sorry, Nick Murphy, I forgot to mention this a couple of days ago. He cranked this one out. It's called Hoots and Hollers.
Hoots and Hollers?
Yeah, the description says Broadway shows came back to several hoots and a couple hollers. You get this already if you follow WMMR on Instagram. It sends right to your feed. So please follow WMMR, follow the Preston and Steve Show. Watch us on YouTube, for crying out loud. It is sponsored by Xfinity's Gig Speed Internet, and you can learn more at Xfinity.com. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. Whitney Cummings when we return.
Preston and
In front of Kathy. He knows I get mad at him when it happens on his way into the studio. So I figured the only person that might giggle at it was Preston.
Okay.
Okay. Nick.
I think because it pisses her off so much that he's going to go with Kathy.
And Kathy.
It's so disgusting. It's so awful. Yes, he does do it when there's guests in the studio.
No, he doesn't.
It's the worst smelling thing ever. It's awful. It's so stupid. It's childish. I hate every second of it. But I think that he gets a kick out of Preston's response at how angry it makes me. So I went with Preston.
Oh, there's an interesting look at it. Steve?
I'm going to echo Kathy's sentiment and say Preston. Yeah.
All right, Casey.
I will have to say, because he's not an official member of the show, but an honorable mention goes to Chuck. I mean, if he were going to be a part of this, I would say Chuck D'Amico, because Chuck...
He laughs at you.
He loves this. He says that my farts have personality, and they do. But I absolutely love farting in front of Preston.
I would have thought Kathy.
Yeah, no.
Kathy.
Even like when he gets mad, like when they're like silent ones, sometimes I sit there and I just wait for him to smell it.
Well, I'll just
sit next to each other.
So Mark will be sitting here, and I'll see Preston start to go.
Sometimes, I have Lysol back here.
Oh, my.
And Preston will just be in the middle of talking, and there'll just be a little...
I'll just hear that. Oh, my God. I'm learning more about this show.
But I really do go into, like, other rooms. If we have guests in the studio...
You've gotten better.
Yeah.
You've gotten better. What are the totals on the points
I can't remember who answered Preston on that one.
Steve did.
I did.
And Kathy and
me.
Marissa.
Kathy.
Yes.
All right, so Marissa's now in the lead.
4.
With 4. Steve's got 3, Kathy's got 3, Nick's got 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kathy is our
tight.
next subject.
All right.
It's not a stretch of the imagination to say that if Kathy Romano had written the musical Rent, we would not be singing Seasons of Love and instead would be singing Seasons of Activities.
Yes.
Fall, winter, spring, or summer, which season will Kathy say yields her favorite time-killing, energy-sucking activities?
Oh. I got it.
That's a great question.
Yep. Will Kathy say yields her favorite time-killing, energy sucking activities? Is it winter, spring, summer, or fall? And we're going to start with Steve.
This is sort of a tough one, but I know that Kathy and I share a lot of the similar loves of the various holidays. And now while Christmas is a
That's why
money...
you should have saved me on that ship.
Christmas is a money shot. I think, though, the stuff that happens around fall, between Thanksgiving and Halloween...
Oh, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
all that
got it.
stuff, and all of the access to it is
And with an
something-
8-year-old, you're busy doing. Yeah, I got it.
Right.
Okay,
and,
Nick.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I think just because I think it's your favorite time of year, that you love the season itself, that I went with fall as well.
Ah.
Fall activities.
Marissa.
Because they're so universal, they happen inside and outside. And I'm pretty sure it was your very first list. I'm guessing that. I went fall.
Fall activities.
Preston.
I'll just hit this. Yes.
And Casey.
I'll just hit this.
Fall activities.
And we'll go to Kathy and find out that the answer is.
So although summer is my favorite time of year, I get depressed when summer is over, and the way I get over my depression is through fall activities.
Everybody wins on that one. Wow, that's good.
Cool.
The second question about Kathy on the Preston and Steve Show. Kathy is often playfully painted as a somewhat asexual being who thinks foreplay is laying down a protective tarp. Remind me to tell you Dr. Ruth's story a little bit later. That said, what will Kathy say is an appropriate amount of time for a woman to wait before getting intimate in a new relationship? While we're looking for a closet in weeks.
Marissa and I are going to differ
This
on
is
this
Kathy. We will allow your answer to be in years.
So we're looking for weeks.
Yeah. Weeks? The closest in weeks. Yeah, we're looking for closest in weeks. This is Kathy.
Hold on, I need a calculator.
Well, yeah. So what will Kathy say is an appropriate amount of time for a woman to wait before getting intimate in a new relationship?
All right.
All right. People writing their answers down. You're in? Well, I don't think so. Casey.
Okay. This is a really, really tough one. I don't think you're as prudish as one would think. But like first date, 1 week, no. 2 week, no. 3 weeks, no. 4 weeks, I think is a nice, safe assumption.
All right, Casey.
About a
weeks.
month.
About a month. Marissa.
I said that Kathy would approve of holding hands after 3 months.
Whoa.
Wow.
12 weeks.
Oh, Preston.
I think she's more of a slut than we believe she is. And I'd say Kathy would be cool. That maybe not for herself, but if she were to give advice, I'd say 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's a short one, yeah.
All right. Steve?
I agreed with Casey, and I think 4 weeks seems about right.
Okay. Nick?
First of all, I can't wait to hear that Dr. Ruth story. And then, second of all, I went with 3 weeks.
All right. It's all over the board.
Wow.
Kathy, are you a prude?
Okay, so I'm going to go initially with when I read this question, what my answer was going to be. And the question is going from one relationship to the next, how long you should wait in between, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
I thought it was after the first date.
After the
how long
first
to have sex?
getting intimate,
yeah.
date, before getting intimate with someone.
Okay, so you meet somebody, how long will it take before you...
Right.
As they used to say, make whoopee.
Oh, all right. Okay. So from the first date. All right, then I need to rethink this because if it was from one relationship to another, I was going to say 24 weeks, 6 months.
Okay.
But I'm going to say, after the first date, and I forget what everybody said, but I'm going to say 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Casey.
And Steve. Wow.
All right, so point each.
All right, Steve, you are now tied with Marissa at 5.
All right.
I have 3. Kathy has 3. Preston has 3. And Nick has 4 going into the... Oh, Nick, you are stuck with 4.
I'm done.
You're done.
That's right, because Nick is going to... Wait,
we have Marissa as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
Okay, so there's still a chance for everybody.
We'll do Nick. A penny saved is a penny earned is more than just a maxim. It's also what you whisper in Nick's ear to make him horny. And while we kid Nick about his frugal way of life, who will he say is the next cheapest person on the show? So Nick being the cheapest, who would be the next cheapest human on the show?
Who will
15
Nick say?
seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick will say this person is the next
I got
cheapest.
this one.
You got this one?
Yeah,
We'll start with you then, Preston.
I think that that somebody who knows a good bargain and is the queen of returns would absolutely look, and she looks for coupons all the time. She looks for special deals. It's got to be Kathy.
Got to be Kathy.
Got to be Kathy.
My wife's the same way.
Yep.
All right, Casey.
You said Queen of
It is just about 9 o'clock on this Tuesday morning, cold Tuesday morning. 25 is as high as we're going to get.
The high right now.
Temperatures go. I don't know what it is right now, actually.
It is 19 degrees.
19. All right, going up to 25 today. Warmer tomorrow, 43, 46 on Thursday. Friday, we start cooling back down, 38, and then Saturday, 23, even colder than today. Let's have a look at traffic, see what's up. And Marissa's got it. What's up, Marissa?
All right, stop traffic. Fort Washington out to Mid-County. That's on the PA Turnpike where there's an accident blocking the lane there. 76 westbound, slow from City to Belmont. Eastbound Boulevard to Spring Garden. 95 southbound, we're slowing Cottman to Bridge. Betsy Ross out to Allegheny. On the Vine Street Expressway, we're slowing from the Parkway to 76. Byberry Road, there's an accident at Davisville Road. And we're slowing on the Boulevard between Broad Street and Fox. This traffic report is brought to you by DriveGo.com. Get your next car in 4 minutes versus 4 hours and save up to 25% a month. No down payment, no hidden fees. Seriously. Learn more at DriveGo.com. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you, Marissa. And we're waiting on
Whitney Cummings. Well, we needed to get into the break to make sure that we, because our interview was supposed to start at 9 o'clock, so I didn't want to be late.
Listen, that's what a producer does.
Yeah.
And we commend you for that.
So we had to do a little pivot, if you will, there for a moment. So I guess we got some time to talk about some stuff.
Campfire songs?
See, here's what I hate doing, because what if we get into a great conversation?
And we always do, because we never fail to get into great conversations that are always interesting.
And then I don't want to stop a great conversation and talk to somebody and then try to come back to that great conversation. I just don't like the way that works.
I got a quick thing.
Okay.
Yesterday, the sun set in our area at 4:54, which means that in 5 days, will be after 5 p.m. for the sunset.
Love it.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
And people who deal with the seasonal affective disorder and lack of vitamin D, yeah, man, it's a legit thing. And so I posted something on Instagram last night and then a little thing on Twitter, and people were like, yeah, man, this time of year, you need sun. And
do you sun lamp it at home?
I do. I have the sun lamp at home, yeah. And I used to bring it in here, but Bill thought it was a prop.
What are you, developing film?
Yeah,
So,
what was that?
I don't know. I don't know what Bill's...
Why did he not want you to have that here? Was it too big?
I don't know that he was confused by it. I don't think he was protesting, and he just seemed like, well, what is that, for French fries?
Bunch of bull crap.
Yeah. So maybe I'll bring it back in just to spite Bill. But yeah, so anyway, it's nice to see the sun setting a little bit later every day, even when it's as cold as it is.
Well, wouldn't you know?
You have a seasonal depression
I have
thing?
some tips for seasonal affective disorder. Look at that. I have everything.
Man.
This is I'm not opening up the junk drawer for real, but I pulled this out of the junk.
This is the junk clutch.
I pulled this out of the chunk clutch.
Yeah, it's a smaller container.
Because I have everything in here. So, yes, of course, it occurs when depression gets triggered by a change of seasons, primarily beginning in the fall through winter months. People with winter depression experience symptoms such as withdrawing from social events, changes in appetite, and oversleeping.
So stop and think about this. You have a situation that even if you don't have seasonal depression, you could be depressed simply because this has been the norm for going on, 2 years. And
this continues along with issues associated with major depression too. So, yes, and of course our call's coming in right now, right? I have all these tips that are going to save your life.
It's a great tease for the post-interview conversation.
Is that what we're going to do?
I think that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we're only
I have every confidence.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, what's that case?
We only have it for 10 minutes.
Okay. So it's going to be in our area twice over the next few weeks in February, I believe. Yes, in Bethlehem, and then in town at the Miriam Theater on April 30th. And we are happy to welcome her to our show. Please give some love to Whitney Cummings.
Hey.
Hi, Whitney. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm hanging in there.
Nice.
That's good.
Hey, I noticed you named this the Touch Me Tour. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, over the past couple of years, I found myself just being so frustrated that I couldn't hug anyone, touch anyone, as some was a as a known perverty person, I like grabbing people. I like hugging people. I like touching their lower back.
No, I agree. We need this. I mean, we did a whole segment on how there are severe psychological ramifications being deprived of touch, not even in a salacious way, like someone's lower back. But I have to ask you, Whitney, you have the distinct ability to basically hug yourself as another person because of the Whitney robot that you had created. I don't know. Explain to people what this is, because I think this is amazing.
Well, for my last special, which was called "Can I Touch It?" I was really getting very obsessed with how afraid everybody was that the robots were going to take over. I find as a society sometimes when we can't control the little tiny things, we focus on, the bigger things.
Yeah.
I can't see a doctor for less than $700. Let's worry about the robots that are going to take over in 400 years, as if that's the priority. So, and then I got very into just I read an article that said, sex robots we're going to replace human women, and all these women were all up in arms. And I was like, why aren't we excited about this? Doesn't everyone need a little break? I would love to take a couple days off from having
to service your partner. Yes.
Hey, but
this feels like the best Mormon arrangement ever. Then I had one built that looks exactly like me, and it's the only thing I don't want to touch.
How much did that cost you, Whitney? Those things are not cheap.
You've seen my tour schedule for this year. I'm doing a lot of tour dates, not only because I love comedy.
Well, the truth of the matter is, it's not just simply like a real doll. I mean, this is a far more articulated deal, and I wonder, because at a certain point, you talk about the bizarre fear of robots and things of that nature, and I do have some of that with the Boston Dynamics artificial dog things. But in this case, you can actually kind of look at something that is you. Did you, for a nanosecond, get that? Okay, I understand the robot fear now.
Yeah, I understand it, because we're inherently creeped out by things that sort of look human but don't move like they're human, or their faces don't move like they're human.
Right.
I live in Los Angeles, and that's what everyone's faces look like. I'm kind of used to being around a bunch of creepy, emotionless robots. I work with a lot of them.
Well, I have to tell you, just because I know we have a limited time with you, but I have to tell you, I'm a big, huge fan of yours, and one of the things I really admire is the writing you did for the roasts. And I don't know if you... I mean, to me, that is, having written, I did stand up years ago and did some comedy writing. Writing for, if people don't know, Whitney was writing for a lot of times for people who weren't naturally comedically inclined, and yet a lot of times you'd be giving them killer lines. Did you love that, or was it a nightmare?
It was a nightmare when you would see the little train that could just say the joke, whether it was like a model or, an actress, but then we got to write for people like Betty White and Cloris Leachman, who just, they could deliver it, but they weren't such sociopaths that they would have come up with the joke. They know how to say it, but their hearts are too kind to have come up with something so filthy. And, so that was fun to watch. But other times you would just watch a great joke go down in a blaze of glory. And that was part of it, though. I miss the roast so much, because I think, anyone right now who, knows what's going on in comedy, we've lost a couple great legends. And if you look at the two people we recently lost that I was very close to, Norm Macdonald and Bob Saget, there's a famous roast of Norm Macdonald roasting Bob Saget, and he decided to go the other way and do these very corny on purpose jokes, and created this discomfort that was like, it wasn't even you weren't cringing because you were worried about anyone's feelings, or it was like, oh, that's so raunchy. It was just tension and cringe and hysterical laughter in one of those moments where it's like you can't think about your problems for a second. You're just You're just trying to not pee yourself.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and then there's an art form. I mean, I go back to listening to old recordings of the Friars Club roast and the classic things that weren't even supposed to be released out to the general public. We happened to have a obviously you were close to Bob Saget, and he was a friend to the show, and from this area, and was just great. A massive loss, and Norm Macdonald as well, who and I know you have a lot of the same influences, people you admire like David Tell and Carlin and. Norm Macdonald was a singular talent. I mean, these two people. Do you have any great Norm stories or any great Bob Saget stories?
Well, I always said to Norm, like, everyone's like, Norm's my biggest inspiration. I'm like, yeah, Norm was my biggest inspiration to quit comedy, because every time I saw him do it, I was like, I can't do that. Like, what was that? Like, it was, it was just everything. And just because, what I did really learn about Norm is, when you'd watch Norm perform around the Comedy Store, he would just be killing. And that's every comedian's, that's the goal. That's
right.
Killing, people are in stitches. And then he would just say something that was so off and almost offensive on purpose and lose the audience on purpose. To the point to where, it's like, well, men and women really are different. Should women really be in the workplace? Like something.
He loved that.
He loved it. And then he'd kind of lose everybody on purpose and then be like, stay with me. And then he'd get them back. And to watch a comedian dig a hole for themselves sincerely, because he just wanted to get better, and by the, in the last 20 years, he was so great. It was so hard for him to even not be at a home game advantage. And, that was just really wonderful. I just had Nick Swartzen on my podcast.
He's great.
He told a bunch of incredible Norm stories. They were really close. And he does such a good impression of it. And in terms of Bob Saget, two quick stories. I hope the second one doesn't get me in trouble. But Bob was... He was all about making you laugh at all costs, and nothing was off limits. So, comedians, for all of the jokes we tell that people want to be mad at us about, the punching down and all this, none of this is real. It's all Twitter stuff. When you come to shows, don't worry. Like, we're treating, comedy fans like adults, and the more things they make taboo, the funnier we get. So, but I remember I was with Bob one time. We were at dinner. It was me, Bob Saget, and Jeff Ross, and we're sitting at dinner, and everyone's on their phones, always, and we're all on our phones. Me, Jeff Ross, we're on our phones, and then I look over at Bob, and he's holding he had ordered ice cream with fruit, and he was holding a BlackBerry and punching it with his thumbs, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm typing on my BlackBerry.
Oh, nice. I love it.
And he'd been doing it for 10 minutes. No one had noticed. And he just committed to punching this little BlackBerry with his fingers. So it was such a dumb joke, but he'd been doing it for so long, the BlackBerry was all mushed out.
When you stick, so he's determined to stick the joke no matter how long it takes.
And then, his sister had something called scleroderma, which, he did huge fundraisers for. Bob had the biggest heart in the world, loved his family, and, we do these big benefits every year, and it's a horrible, horrible skin disease. You die, basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, your skin just kind of erodes off until you die.
Well,
it solidifies.
Yeah, it becomes like a hard thing. He actually, Bob directed that movie based on his sister, and it's a horrible way to go.
It hardens, and it's a very and parts of it, so, and it's just an awful skin situation. And so we're at a hotel in New York, and just touring, doing his comedy festival, the New York Comedy Festival in November, and I ordered lasagna, and he ordered whatever he ordered, and right as I'm about to take a bite, it was like cheesy, saucy lasagna. He points at my lasagna and goes, "Oh, look, there's my sister."
Oh my God.
My guy. Dude. And that's what you can do.
Yeah.
Shock value. The absurdity of it. Oh my God.
But here's what people realize. If you're a good person, you can go really far.
Yeah.
If you're a bad person, you can't. That's the thing we're learning right now. You can't say this, you can't say this. No. bad people can't make bad jokes about the bad stuff they do. Good people can make, so Bob, there was no limit to how far he could go because he was such a good person.
You're exactly right.
So I almost forgot that you spent a lot of time here in Philadelphia. You're a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania. Bob's from this area. You lived in this area for a little while. I assume you still have.
I did. I lived at the Sterling on 18th and JFK.
I know the Sterling. Yeah, we used to know the owner of that building.
Okay, no, that's where we launched our first. We launched a sex doll off of a balcony of the Sterling. By the way,
we did.
Well, the mission was to send the first. Now, but mind you, elementary schools have pulled off what we have failed to do for decades. But the idea was to launch this to the outer edges of the atmosphere. It had a camera and a tracking device on it. It failed, but.
Maybe we should try it with the Whitney Cummings doll.
Yes.
Hey, look, this feels too coincidental. Because as I was growing my mind at University of Pennsylvania, I was really just in the Sterling plotting, building my sex doll.
But hang on a second.
Oh, you're an Ivy Leaguer.
What year did you graduate Penn?
Okay, I graduated Penn 2003. It's all very sketchy because I couldn't really afford to do Penn. I mean, myself. So I took night classes and summer classes at Temple on Century on 16th and Walnut.
Well, you
right there.
You graduated magna cum laude, though, right?
I mean, I guess
that's nothing to dismiss.
Yeah,
that's damn good.
But I'm just saying, you might have been living in the Sterling building when we launched this sex doll. We did it when we were at the other radio station.
Yes, I might have looked at that sex doll and been like, that's the face I want.
With that constant look of surprise.
But you guys might have been my major muse for comedy. I mean, I was there 2000 to 2003, so I would go to Penn 4 days a week and jam in all my classes. Then I would do the Temple, the campus on 16th. It was in a tall apartment, or like a tall office building. Above Joan Shep.
Huh. Oh, yeah. She's moved since then.
Yeah, so, we definitely launched it while you lived there. That's pretty funny. And you know that the Four Seasons is right next to where you're at, where you were living now.
Really? That's new. We had a what was it? A marathon grill.
It's they built
a Chinese restaurant called Lucky Garden that was spelled wrong.
No, it's they built two giant skyscrapers, and the tallest building in Philadelphia is right next to the Sterling now.
Wow. I remember there was one on the left. Oh, that was the big on 16th in Sansom. There was a big tall one that was just being built.
Yep.
I haven't been back. I went back to speak at Annenberg, and then I haven't really been back to Philly much. There's that Helium that as soon as the world started opening up again, I was trying to, do smaller venues because big venues weren't even opening, So a lot of these smaller venues were doing like half capacity and stuff. This was like a year and a half ago. So I tried to come to Helium, but we couldn't work it out.
No.
I love that club. I love that venue too.
For the longest time, when it was really, there was nothing when we were doing years ago when the first start of the show, and now there's a really robust, great comedy scene in Philly. So the more that we can see you here, because we're huge fans, the happier we'll be.
Man. Me too, dude. I mean, I've spent so much time there. I used to do informal modeling at the King of Prussia Mall. I would walk around.
Yeah. Informal modeling? What does that mean?
It means they never hired me, and I just showed up anyway.
I also did informal modeling.
Yeah, me too.
It's called being a prostitute.
Okay.
Wow.
I would go to Manayunk. There was a couple stores in Manayunk I would do it at. King of Prussia Mall, the Saks Fifth Avenue on the main line.
Yeah, on City Line.
We're literally looking at Saks.
Yeah, we can see it outside our window. Yeah.
Okay, so I used to cry on those steps, and I would take the bus out, and it would be me and a couple girls, and we would basically because I used to do like QVC and stuff like that, and really like low budget modeling, and I would walk around the mall of King of Prussia, and I'd be in like a wedding dress, and I'd be like, on the 4th floor, there's a bunch of wedding dresses. No one's ever gonna ask to marry me, but you seem like you. Why don't you go? I was like the really bad. I was a perfume girl at King of Prussia Mall. I was
wow.
I'd be like, you look like you smell. I was not good at it.
Yeah, if that was your line, that's probably not going to work. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I'd be like, you look a little sweaty. Want a little sweat?
Well,
but yeah, I got to be honest with you. It is of all the places that I'm going. I mean, I've done I think 30 cities. I'm about to do 40 more. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It means the world to me. I dated a guy. My first inappropriately older man I dated lived in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I used to spend basically all my college years going back and forth on that Amtrak.
That's great.
Back and forth from New York, and I always dream of getting a place in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania and getting a farm there, but. You guys got to come out of these shows first.
Yeah, all right. So no longer prostitution at the King of Prussia Mall, but you'll be whoring yourself out at the Miriam Theater on April 30th.
I will, and then the Bethlehem. I'm going to come to the Wind Creek Event Center. I've never been there. Is that nice?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a cool place.
Two good venues.
That's on February 11th, and
that's in 2 weeks. That's soon.
Yeah, it's real quick. WhitneyCummings.com, or we'll put links on PrestonandSteve.com for those who want to get them.
And also Wilmington, Delaware. You're going to be there on February 5th, and so that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away as well.
Wilmington. I'm from D.C.-ish in Virginia. I'd go back and forth, but I used to do every summer at Ocean City, Maryland. Beach,
Secrets?
Rehoboth Beach.
Big Peckers.
Hanging out at Secrets in the ocean?
There were a lot of secrets in the ocean, yes. Secrets I still don't know because I blacked them out.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, well, Whitney, good luck with everything on this tour, and especially when you come through Philly, and it's great to catch up with you.
I hope I'll get to see you guys.
That'd be great.
Come on, there's not a lot of us left.
All right, thank you. Whitney Cummings, guys. Good luck with everything, and thanks for coming on. Oh, my God, she's too funny.
She's great, yeah.
What's Big Pecker?
It was a restaurant, bar restaurant in Ocean City, New Jersey, and it was called Big Peckers.
Okay.
And it was basically a foghorn leghorn type of mascot. People
they served rooster.
No, but in the late 80s, early 90s, you'd see people wearing Big Pecker shirts all the time.
I gotcha.
It was also what was the was it like Big Johnson's? Okay.
The shirts were more popular.
It's like that place, Large Veiny Penis.
That was an actual place?
The Big Johnsons? No, those were just popular shirts.
I remember the shirts,
people would wear the Big Pecker shirts because they were funny, and so they probably were more popular than the restaurant itself.
Yeah, the Big Johnson. It was like poker in the front, liquor in the rear.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember those. All right. How about that seasonal affective disorder?
Yes. Do we have a little more dour music, Case, just to set the mood
We need
again?
to go from very energetic, fun Whitney Cummings to depression. If you're just tuning in, we had started. She was late calling in, so we started talking about
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
about Nick's happy lamp, and that led us to the seasonal affective disorder stuff and how we're on the other side of the sun being more present during our days.
It does make a difference for a lot of people. By the way, just that what you can get in vitamin D from the sun is an essential thing, especially now. Yeah. But it used to, Nick. So years ago, people would be very dismissive of this as a thing. It's a legitimate thing that can really profoundly affect people.
Yeah, for sure. And so there are remedies, and a happy lamp is one of them. Even in weather like this, being outside for like 5 to 10 minutes goes a long way. I take vitamin D every day, so there are steps that you can take to help a little bit. But it's funny. I mean, I watch when the sun is setting, kind of like a hawk at this time of year, because you need things to look forward to. And it's 4:55 today. It's going to be 5 p.m. before the end of the week.
We have sound of you watching like a hawk.
Yeah.
Not just daylight, but I wonder if with seasonal affective disorder, if part of it has to do, because what gets to me by the time we get to late February and where I'm like, enough already.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Knock it off.
Part of it is no leaves on the tree.
Oh, sure, yeah. No colors, really.
Yeah,
it's
the
gray
lack of
and
color. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's gray and brown and drab. And so it's funny because, like, this weekend, we took down, it's hilarious, really. We took down our Christmas decorations and, the outside lights are still up, but there's that space in between the end of the Christmas holiday season and, like, spring training.
No man land.
Yeah, and you're just like, what are we going to do? And pandemic hasn't helped and all that stuff.
And when we do get snow and it stays cold and the snow doesn't go anywhere and it covers up what little color of the grass that you saw, that really gets to me.
I actually will go out and I will tape fake leaves to the trees. Just because I like the colors.
My goodness. I tell you what would make people happy, I think, is our little light up palm tree, a little neon palm tree that we have in our green room now in our lounge. I love that thing.
Hey, but you know what? Just in like a few short weeks, we'll probably have like mounds of gray and black snow.
Oh,
and, that's always fun to look at.
Yeah,
too.
but they in the parking lot. So, all right. Anyhow, some therapists were researched about how they personally cope with seasonal depression.
Here's what I do to fight the depression.
And find ways to still enjoy the colder months.
Number one.
So I think I think there's like, let me see how many of these there is. 7, 8, all right, there's like 10 of them here.
Don't do 10. It sounds desperate.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. All right, so some of these suggestions are schedule your life around self-care. Time management that prioritizes breaks and vacations, as well as tending to my own appointments and family needs, according to this particular one.
So a schedule that you stay on.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense. That's part of, in the beginning of everyone, so when the lockdown was occurring and everyone was, staying at home, the notion of getting up, changing your clothes, doing things, making a bed, all that stuff, a ritual keeps you up.
Here's another one. Accept where you are with your mental health in the moment. Which is something I've learned to deal with because I don't suffer from depression, thank God, and I definitely feel bad for people who do. But I will get in what I just call a funk, and there'll be like a stretch of a couple of days. If I'm a couple of days into it, I will acknowledge it. I go, okay, you're in one of these.
You're in a funk.
You're in this. It's always gone away. And this one will too. And so maybe the next couple days are just going to suck, and you just kind of keep your eye on the prize.
Give yourself permission.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a funky mood?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get funky usually at some point every day.
I think that's the hardest part of depression is knowing that it can be temporary. And when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, recognizing that it has an end, you know, that there are these plateaus. But while your brain sometimes doesn't operate in a way to allow you to recognize that. And so it's one of those things where you have to work hard to remember.
So this therapist said, my meditation practice is instrumental in helping me accept what is with non-judgment. So when the weather is gloomy, I try to embrace the opportunity to curl up with a good book and find a new series on Netflix to binge watch. I give myself permission to slow down and be present. Steve, I saw something the other day, mention of meditation. So I was looking at them. I'm starting to get a little bit more active, and I want to find some more interesting ways to exercise. And so we have the Oculus.
Yeah.
We bought our second one. We love the first one so much. And so I was looking for exercise programs, things that I can be playing a game and exercising at the same time.
They have a whole bunch of them.
Enjoy myself that way.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was brought up on there was for recovery. This one guy on YouTube had recommended, and I didn't know this, they have some guided meditation VR.
And the Oculus is going to rock your world.
And so you can get in these serene settings with guides that will help you along the way if you want, or if you want to go with no audio, you can do that as well and just be in this peaceful environment. And I mean, if you've never done the VR thing before, it is all encompassing.
Welcome to the Shire.
Oh.
I hit the wrong button.
It's all encompassing. It's anywhere and everywhere that you look.
You're surrounded by hobbits.
So
we're looking at a little bit of a video of one now.
So I'm very much looking forward to sampling one of those.
Yeah.
And trying that out. And I'll bet you, in fact, there have been, when I've been in a funk, in the Oculus, the main menu, there are a couple of different environments that you can set up, and one is like in a ski lodge, and another one is in a futuristic setting and stuff like that. And I have have just gone there and hung out for a little while.
Do you know my favorite
Not
one?
played a game, just sat there
And just relax.
And just kind of relax. There's one with these balloons off in the distance.
Very nice. There's a futuristic setting. There's
it's
a motor
awesome.
vehicle bureau.
Oh, I haven't done that one yet.
hey.
It's got to be
Very
so
relaxing, yeah.
relaxing.
You don't do much.
So keep that. Hey, listen, if you can't be happy in the moment, in the real world, go to a fake one for a little while.
Absolutely.
And maybe that can take you away for a little bit.
The
That's
more you
my
can
tip.
just hide away in virtual world.
Just cram it into a ball.
Right,
Shove
right.
it down deep inside yourself.
That's tip number 6.
And then eventually everyone will look like zeros and ones.
Yeah. All right. So another suggestion for seasonal affective disorder, or this is what some of these therapists do themselves.
Right.
This one says, get in touch with your creative side to process your feelings. This person, there's too many. I'm not going to name everyone.
Yeah, the hell with them.
When I am feeling really stuck, I write poems about either my inner experience or about something I notice in the natural environment around me.
You have poems.
After writing my way through my depression, I often return to knowing what my inner
Roses are red, violets are blue, suck it.
what my inner experiences are, always rich, no matter how comfortable or uncomfortable they are to sit with. Okay,
Listen, if
wouldn't work for me.
No.
I can't write to save my life.
But you play the drums.
Yeah,
That's an expression.
that's what I
It's
do.
an artistic expression.
Pretty
And you
much
do
every day.
notice a lot.
I do notice from time to time.
There
That's
you
part
go.
of my therapy as well. Here's another one. Make a few dietary changes as necessary. This therapist says stimulants like alcohol, sugar, and caffeine can exacerbate seasonally triggered symptoms of depression or anxiety.
Well, that's true.
So I cut back altogether during the winter months. She boosts that feel-good neurochemicals and amino acids such as tryptophan and gamma aminobutyric acid, or GABA, GABA.
Yeah.
By eating more seaweed, seeds, whole grains, green teas, and kimchi.
Excuse me, where are your seaweed seeds and your kimchi?
Your seaweed seeds.
Where are your jellyfish anuses?
I have to admit, I did start eating a little bit more thoughtfully. I've been a glutton this
What did
season.
you start eating?
I just started cutting back on
Portion control?
on ice cream and things like that. Yes.
So you've gone from a pint down to a spoonful.
And I already today I noticed, and maybe it's psychosomatic, but I
And the
already
bowel movements?
I haven't had enough yet to
PMs?
constitute bowel movements. But anyhow, whether it's psychosomatic or not, I already feel better today.
You do, yes. Listen.
And I don't care if it is psychosomatic or not. I feel
Yeah.
better.
In fact, you're not here right now. You're playing Oculus
I'm
at home.
somewhere else.
Somebody's going to rip the headset off, and you're going to look down, and you got a whole beer gut.
I'm eating my seaweed seeds.
These are so good.
Oh my God, these are so good.
No wonder why seagulls love them.
All right, here's another one. Spend time in the sun.
Yes.
Yes!
Absolutely.
There are times when I will just, like you do, Marissa, you stand in the middle of the road. No, I will go out.
I do. I just lay down, kind of like the program. You just lay in the middle.
The thing to do is to get some sun on your skin. Even in the winter, you can do it. Bundle up, sit down on a chair, look at the sun, go blind. No, but you just feel that warmth.
Vitamin D plays an important role in regulating mood, but decreased daylight in winter can interrupt your body's production of this vitamin. That's where
Hence the light.
That's the happy lamp comes in, right?
Yeah, or literally, if you can bundle up, walk outside for 5 to 10 minutes. It makes a difference.
Oh, wait a minute, Casey. I put my garage lamp in.
Oh,
I put my garage light in.
Oh, is this a side note?
Side note.
Side note.
The
And
reason I thought it was because it is the brightest thing indoors I've ever seen. And actually, yeah, it's great.
It's awesome.
Excellent, because the garage is one of those areas where you're working on stuff, you're trying to find things, you need as much light as you can
You
get.
need light to see
So
things.
thumbs up on that. Thumbs up on that garage light, Casey.
I told you.
All right, so
I told you, and you wouldn't believe me.
this
Now you can
therapist
see things in your garage.
said sunlight, even in the tiniest amount that occurs in the winter, can help boost serotonin levels and improve your mood.
Think about when we see the sun increasing the horizon here. So we're in here in the dark, and when the sun starts to rise,
Oh, man.
you can literally feel yourself being energized.
And we always make note of it. We always tell each other, look, sun's coming up. Come up, please take
Start
a look.
pitching a tent.
Beautiful. Yeah, start get a semi
Got a sun
immediately.
boner.
And whacking it in the corner.
Sun boner.
I'm rocking a sun boner.
Yeah.
Sun boner? Band name?
Band name.
Okay.
Nick saw me grab the paper.
Yeah, like the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Sun boner.
Boner. All right. I'm going to put that on the pile. All right, get to that
Where'd you
later.
get that bonus, man?
So take a short walk outdoors. If it's not too cold, have your coffee or tea or hot chocolate
Or your seaweed.
along with you to keep you warm.
Seaweed juice is toasty.
And taking vitamin D supplements.
Yes.
They also decrease symptoms of depression if sunny
day.
weather isn't available. You take vitamin D?
Every day, yeah. And listen, you can't get vitamin D through a window. You got to go outside.
Well, they can hand it to you through a window.
No. Like if you're watching the
doesn't work?
sunrise,
What
no.
if you open the window?
Then it works. No, literally, you need to have like the sunlight actually hit your body. That like, getting vitamin D through a window is not effective.
Really? So it just kind of filters it out?
Yeah. Believe it or not, there has to be direct sunlight on your skin.
No, you're right. Yes.
I know,
the,
right?
the window. Yeah, the window will
Okay.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, okay.
Yeah, seriously.
So,
like
so
getting
literally
it through
the difference between rolling down your window in the car.
makes a difference. I swear to God. That's why I said earlier, like getting outside for 5 to 10 minutes makes a difference as opposed to just looking out through the window at the sun.
Stop and think about the fact you cannot get a tan through a window.
All right, here's one. Let's see.
You cannot tune a fish.
Right. See if you can wrap your mind around this helpful tip for seasonal affective disorder. Take a vacation if you can.
You know what? Honestly, if you can, yeah, that's a nice tip. But planning vacation helps me to get through the winter.
Yes.
Just thinking about what I might be able to do in March or April or in the summer, whatever. Thinking, like fantasizing about that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's a distraction, and you're not currently obsessed with COVID or how crappy it is outside. You know, it's a nice way to get out of depression.
Put things
depressive
in your
state.
calendar.
Yeah.
Have things that you are looking forward to. That's
Treat
a big thing,
yourself.
and that works during the day as well. Like tonight, I'm going to spank it. And I'm
there you
looking
go.
forward to it.
It's a plan.
It's a plan.
Put it on the
Right
calendar.
before Wheel of Fortune, I will spin my own wheel.
This therapist said, over the years, I've learned that if I have a choice, it's better to take vacations in winter than summer. 2 weeks spent in a warm and sunny climate in January can effectively interrupt the worst stretch of winter. I agree 100%. For years, I wanted to spend Christmas somewhere warm and tropical. My family's fought me every step of the way. So what we do, we bought a beach house at a beach that's always cold.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen. And that means we're not going to take a vacation anywhere because we got a beach house. But I would, yes, I have done, Casey and I've done a couple of little quick weekend golf getaways to Florida in the wintertime. It is fantastic to be able to pull that off if you can do it.
Why do you think spring training is so popular for Philadelphians? I mean, like it's this, they can put it on their calendar and get to Clearwater and like experience, like you were talking earlier, Preston, like colors, you know, feeling actual and seeing greens and blues. And like, it's not necessarily about the baseball. It's about getting down there.
You ever go somewhere cold in the summertime though?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I went to Alaska in the summertime.
I've been in Colorado. That was in the summer. It's not cold. It's cooler, but you know.
Yeah, I went to and any place. Where did I go? I was at the Gurning convention.
Is that cold?
It was cold. The cold. It's hard too. You think it'd be contrary because your skin is harder. It's harder to make the faces when your face is cold.
But Queen Elizabeth was there, and so you had to go to that.
Look at this. You can see all my gums. Yes, I'm a big proponent of that. I believe Claire, my wife, I know I mentioned her quite often, but she needs that. She will actually get depressed if she cannot travel or go to some warm climate. The cabin fever months take their toll.
All right, here's another one. Make your workspace and schedule more mental health friendly. Staying inside all day during the winter can mean missing out on the few crucial hours of daylight that boost your mood.
So
this therapist said, I basically will do an ergonomic assessment of my own workspace every time there is a season change.
My pencil cup will go right here.
So sometimes placing your computer in front of a window is not the best for lighting, but it will do this so that I can let sunlight come in, and I will also move my client caseload to help me manage my work.
Sometimes you just have to figure out where you're going to place your load.
By the way, what does ergonomic mean? Again, does anyone know the official definition of that?
To me, it's an efficient use of space. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's another one. Find simple ways to enjoy the season. Finding simple things about the fall and winter she enjoys, according to this therapist, from cute mugs to comfy hoodies.
Oh, comfy hoodies. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Okay.
That helps.
My cute mugs.
I got this sweatshirt. I think I've worn it every day for my son for Christmas, and I love it. It's a comfy hoodie.
I'm wearing a comfy hoodie.
There you go. See?
This is the
I'm
first,
wearing a
made your day
comfy
little
hoodie.
better.
it's the first comfy hoodie I've worn all year. Marissa's wearing, is that a hoodie too?
Yeah, it was so
Comfy
cold in
hoodie?
here yesterday. I had to bundle up today.
Okay. Yeah, we did get chilly in here yesterday, late in the
Sucked.
Yeah. So yes, also besides the comfy hoodie, what? Oh, it says more scenic pictures with beautiful light around me, listening to nature sounds.
What?
Having my
Picture of Napa Valley.
having my favorite scents. And
This is 5 cents.
no, it's SCENT.
Oh, I'm sorry.
As in a smell.
This is a dime.
And consistent movement in particular helps me through the day.
Yes, rustic, bucolic, beautiful scenery, a duck,
Listening to nature sounds.
erupting volcanoes.
I guess you could pull up. I was doing that at my house for a while. I would put on ocean sounds in my sound system.
Right.
Just because it's soothing, and I like that. I love that sound. So I guess you could do the same thing with, I don't know, like the loons. That way, that sound effect that we have,
Right.
the birds or whatever out in nature.
Going out of my mind, Norman. You're the one who wanted to live here, you stupid bitch.
They cut off the roads up in Maine, dude. You can't drive anywhere once it gets
Can't
winter
get
time,
out
so
of
you're
here.
you're
I'm in
stuck.
hell.
But you've got the loons, Norman.
Here's an idea. I'm going to lay down on the floor and smash my head in with the crock pot.
Is that going to help?
It can't hurt. I wish every one of those things were dead.
Poor loons.
It's a living hell.
I love that sound. A sound that I find very soothing is when the wind rustling through trees and leaves. You don't get it now, obviously, because there's nothing to rustle through.
So my son
No rustling.
My son was obsessed with learning how to do the loon call. You blow into your hands.
Into your loon siren.
So I call it. I walk into his bedroom. Right, he's a 14-year-old boy. What do you expect when you walk into a 14-year-old boy's bedroom? What do you expect to catch them doing?
Spanking it.
But I catch him with his mouth in between his hands trying to do a loon call, and so I do it, and he's like, "How'd you do that? How'd you do it?" And I was like, "Oh, do it. You just do it." So I was doing it, and he's like, "I couldn't," and then I'm doing it. But
Let's hear you do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
You got to lick your hands.
Yeah, my mustache.
I lick your hands instead.
You want me to lick your hands?
Wait, let me lick your butt. Nice.
So, about a week later, I wake up and my son is standing above me, and he's cupping his hands, and he wakes me up with the loon call. I was like, you finally learned how to do it, buddy.
He's over your head.
Norman, listen to the Oompa Loompas. Are those dwarves back?
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. We're leaving Maine.
Rite of passage.
Yep. All right. So he learned the loon call. That's another thing. It's a little thing you could work on your bird calls.
Yes, honestly. And then that's just the point where the neighbors call the police. We need a 5150 over here.
Find, and this is the last, no, there's two more. Okay, find simple ways to enjoy the season. Oh, I already said that with the cute mugs and comfy
other
hoodies.
stuff.
All right.
Mugs.
And the last one on this list for seasonal affective disorder, these are what therapists do themselves.
Yes.
Lean on a support system.
Like a railing?
Like a nice sturdy railing.
Yep.
In your home. You can probably find one.
I think people are reticent to do this, but there are now listen, I despise Facebook, but I know that there are all sorts of support groups available.
Well, this says even therapists need therapy at times, so don't be ashamed to seek out professional support.
So there was an old adage, or I don't know who first said it to me, but don't ever go to a therapist that doesn't go to a therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I speak to a therapist every couple months now, and it's there's nothing crazy traumatic going on in my life, but it's just nice to be able to speak to someone unfiltered and
say what you feel.
Just say what you feel, and it's therapeutic.
Your therapist calls me after you leave.
Okay.
Is it like gossip?
So wait till you hear this.
I'll add one more thing. And Steve, you reminded me of this not that long ago, but like if there are little things you can do to treat yourself, and what reminded me of it was you were doing endorsements for Joseph Anthony.
Yes.
Like Joseph Anthony or Hand and Stone, or like get a massage or do something just like nice for yourself. You can put that on the calendar and say, all right, at least I got this in front of me.
Things you
little
look
things
forward to. Give yourself the permission
Yeah.
to enjoy stuff. I find that's one of my biggest things is that I feel guilty enjoying. Like I have like kind of my workaholic nature.
Yeah.
And so I'm not owed this. I shouldn't have this. And so
You
I
should.
And then I started buying Batman figures. I said, I'm gonna get it, damn it.
Next, somebody's reminding us that you can sun your butthole too. Remember,
Yes.
you did that at the Camp Out for Hunger.
That gets the vitamin D right up in there.
You
right
did that
in
in the
there.
winter too.
Yeah, that was Camp Out. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they have little stations in the city.
So just take your pants off and
That was a special moment. I remember that.
They just have like it's like it's like an enclosure. You just see if you walk down the city street, you'll see feet sticking out.
Right.
And that's people sunning their buttholes.
My friends and I do a family dinner every week.
Okay.
So we'll like go over one person's house and cook or do takeout, and it's just something to look forward to in the middle of the week when there's nothing on the calendar.
Okay.
How you call it a family dinner? That's cute. None of you guys are actually family.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it started with like a pod. It was our pod.
Okay.
Casey had this great idea a while back, and this isn't for seasonal affective disorder, but you mentioned the family thing. Dinner club.
Yeah. Actually, I was talking to my wife about that last night.
It's a great idea. We thought about doing it, and we never followed through on it. And so you agree with another couple.
Yeah. We had two couples.
Yeah. So you have two couples.
Couple. Well,
we had
three
couples
couples.
But usually it's two couples, and you alternate. So
you each pick a bedroom.
Once a month. No.
Here.
You bring a bunch of keys
You
to a
bring
party,
it-
right?
You need 3 keys.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Once a month, one couple picks a restaurant. The other couple picks another couple to bring to the dinner.
Oh,
And then you alternate. So then the following time, the other couple picks the restaurant, and the other couple picks more guests to join. And I guess eventually you're going to run out of people to invite.
Well,
When you're up to 500, you stop, right?
We did. So there were a couple of rules. One was it always had to be a BYO.
Bring your own.
Bring your own. It was like
why that? Just to try those out?
More affordable.
More affordable. You can bring tons of wine or whatever. And then it was always for us. It was always the same 3 couples. We didn't. We didn't.
Oh,
want
you didn't bring other people
We
in?
didn't
I
want to
thought
bring
that
in
was-
outside people.
Wasn't that the original equation, though?
Well, here's the way you should do it, Casey. is that
remember,
You
to tell you
vote
the
out the couple that was the least entertaining to talk to, and then you bring in a new couple and swap them out.
But we knew, like, when it was 6 of us, we knew who we were getting. And,
Yeah, I thought you had told me that you invited another couple.
You probably remember better than I do.
Okay.
But we actually had we were talking about it last night, and we want to resurrect that. What ended up happening for us was our kids all got older, and life got more complicated and busy, and so 1 week it ended up not happening, and then that bled into another week.
It's tough. It's tough to keep something like that going.
Me and my friends do a ladies BYO. There's about 15 to 20 of us, which is hard to find a place where you can get like 20 people into a BYO. But it was awesome for that. And the challenge was to sit next to somebody who you don't usually hang out with. So you talk to other people. I know. It ended up like clicking off.
I really
after
enjoyed
a
the
while.
evening together, Marissa Mocha Magnata.
Ladies. Only ladies only.
Oh, I have a wig.
But one of the
My name is Garina.
Oh, wait. Could you possibly make Gary to speak with a falsetto pretending to be a woman voice? If that even be possible?
I'm on my rag.
It's Carrie Lauer.
I'm on my
I'm on my menses. How do we do it, all right, girls?
Oh, my God. All right, well, just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're done.
This to me, I find this music not contemplative at all. It's sort of frightening in the beginning. If you play it again, start from the beginning. This sounds like a spy thriller, and then it moves in a little bit more to meditative.
We could find a new.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
I like your waves crashing ideas. I think that's my happy place.
Okay. We could do a new Zen music bed, find something like that.
I'm kind of zenny right
Casey's
now.
digging on this.
It is the funkiest.
Tuesday. If you're interested in a Preston and Steve themed tattoo from Floating World and tattoo and piercing, text word secret to tattoo, to 39333, and we'll get a winner by the end of the show. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Marissa?
I actually think that Casey's family is just, I think your wife is the same, and I think your family, and I think it bleeds onto you a little bit, so I'd say Casey.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, in a good way. All great ways.
Kathy?
Oh, okay. So I did not think of myself. I don't think of myself as cheap, although I love a coupon and don't like to pay for shipping. I won't not buy it if I don't find the coupon.
Really?
Yeah, and just because.
But you like quality too, though.
Yes,
so,
and I like quality items as well. I went with Preston because I believe that Nick and Preston, when we talk about tipping conversations, they always have a similar opinion. So so I went with Preston.
Okay. And what is, just briefly, what is your tipping deal?
Just that Steve always goes over the top, and they'll do like the standard tip, like what's listed, and and not really go over.
Tip based on performance, not just
Right.
Steve is going to tip over tip no matter what.
I always over tip. I always do. Steve.
So, and for that reason, because Preston is not cheap at all, but we have those conversations on air, and when we talk about the tipping, those two will take that angle, and so I said Preston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, survey says.
Well, it turns out that Kathy and Steve are right. I went with Preston.
Oh!
And it was because of the way that we think about stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And because you're kind of cheap.
He's very generous.
Joking,
You see my bill from the vacation I just took?
Do you hate it when they include the tip without asking you?
No.
That doesn't bother you?
That doesn't bother me. In fact, added gratuities I'm fine with. But if I did get service that was not good, I think that it reflects on the tip. I mean, absolutely.
Do you talk to the server and say this is why?
No.
Never done that.
Do you do that, Mark? I can't tell you the last time that I had really bad service and I left anything less than 20%.
Okay.
But I mean, but I usually 20% is about right for me. So
okay. Okay. Second question about Nick. Anyone who knows Nick knows his passion for music and his love of both Eddie Vedder and Dave Matthews. I hate Dave Matthews. This begs the question: which of the following two scenarios will Nick pick? Eddie violates Nick while Dave Matthews directs, or Dave Matthews violates Nick while Eddie directs.
Wow.
Steve Morrison, you are a sick man.
I love that I got a gay joke and a cheap joke.
Yes. So Eddie violates Nick while Dave Matthews directs, or Dave Matthews violates Nick while Eddie directs. All right, that's what we're looking for. We're going to start with Steve.
Well, I thought about this, obviously.
Apparently you have.
And I think that Nick holds both of these gentlemen in high regard, but I think Nick is more concerned with how Eddie would think of him, so he would prefer to have Eddie direct him being violated by Dave Matthews.
Okay. Eddie directs is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay, Kathy?
No, I went opposite. I think that Eddie definitely violates him, because if a man is going to violate him, it's going to be Eddie Vedder, and it's just a bonus that Dave is there. So
Just a what?
A bonus that Dave is there.
Okay.
So
It's just a bonus.
That's interesting.
he can direct.
All right, Marissa?
I think that Nick probably enjoys Eddie's voice more, so Eddie directs.
Look, and we've got
And I drew a picture.
visual aids.
Wow.
She drew a picture.
Oh, my.
I thought it would be mouth and not.
No, it's from behind.
Yeah.
Oh, Preston.
Creative ingenuity.
You know what? This is actually, I have a new band name from this.
What is it?
Grunge Cuck.
Grunge Cuck. I love
Grunge
it.
Cuckle. I think that Nick's deep love for Eddie Vedder would mean that he would want him deep inside of him. So I'm going to go with Eddie violating while Dave directs.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
And Casey Boyd.
I did the same thing. I think he would love to have Eddie in him, and also opposite of what you were saying, Marissa. I think he likes Dave's speaking voice more.
That's interesting.
But when Dave Matthews sings, he sounds like a billy goat to me. Okay, I don't know.
He does kind of, he
does, right?
But maybe in the
mumbles a little
bedroom,
bit.
it's a little bit more.
Could be.
I genuinely appreciate all the thought that all you guys put into each, and the drawing, Marissa, was the pièce de résistance.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with I would love to have sex with Eddie Vedder no matter what.
And Dave is directing.
Yeah, Dave is directing.
How do we do on the points on that one, Casey?
I don't remember.
I didn't get a point.
I did.
Okay.
All right, and then Preston, what did you say?
I did. I got a point, yeah.
All right, so we have Preston at 5, Marissa at 5, Kathy at 5, Steve at 6, Casey at 4.
So Steve at 6.
God bless our callers. They've been on hold for 30 minutes now. That's
Sorry, guys.
Hang in there, guys.
So
All
sorry
right.
about that.
We leave the best for last. Marissa. It is no secret that Marissa spends a lot of time out on the town attending the trendiest events, often having to check her license to remember where she lives. Of all the multitude of events, parties, clubs, etc. that Marissa attends or frequents, which will she admit makes her feel the most pompous? All right, she goes to events. Whenever I used to live here, I'd run into her at 2 in the afternoon and 2 in the morning. And the question is, which of all the events she goes to makes her feel the most pompous? Interesting question. We're going to start with Steve.
This, to me, even as writing the question, I thought, is this too easy? But I figured, what the hell, why not go for it? I'm going to have to say dinner en blanc.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Fancy schmancy events.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, Kathy.
I said the same thing just because I think she knows the joke behind it and that we all kind of
Make fun of
laugh.
her?
Yeah, laugh that she's going again.
Nick?
The name itself is pompous, so I went with dinner en blanc.
Okay. Preston?
I actually know it's her favorite event, though, so I don't know if it would be considered her the most pompous, but I couldn't think of another more pompous event, so I went with dinner en blanc as well.
Casey?
I honestly couldn't think of anything but dinner en blanc.
All right, so Marissa.
All right, so I thought about this long and hard, and I thought about picking up and going to Europe or Cuba or, just going to some random new Mark Vetri restaurant or something. And all of these, you guys make fun of me for being pompous. But even though I feel like it isn't that pompous, but I'm also just defending it, it's got to be dinner en blanc.
All right, so the scores remain the same. Steve is still in the lead with 7 correct answers, I believe, now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and so the only ones that can either tie are Kathy and Preston.
Okay. All right, last question. To walk a mile in Marissa's shoes is to see the world at a sub-nose level. Which show member? Oh, my God. I can't believe this is the last question.
Oh, my God.
Which show member will Marissa say has the most out-of-control nose hair or cave bats situation?
Wow.
Wow. She's short. She looks up in various places that they think others don't. Preston is in the lead. We could have a potential tie. Then we will go to a tiebreaker question. I have no idea what that is, but we'll figure it out. We're going to start with Casey.
Okay, so it couldn't be me because I pick my nose all the time. So there's virtually never any bats in the cave. I got to go with Preston on this one. I don't really have any other explanation of him.
All right, Preston.
You know what? I've brought this up several times that Marissa has to view nose hairs regularly. I'm the tallest member of the show, so I gotta put myself in that category. She probably sees the most. Yep.
Nick,
I'm hoping it's not me, but I'm going to go with Preston as well.
All right, Kathy.
I went with Preston as well because of the height. His height.
Steve.
I went with Casey.
Wow. Because?
Only because I figured there's a lot of work around there just lodging things and stuff might be more visible because of that. Though Preston is taller, obviously, and the angle's probably better. I went with Casey.
All right, so potential tie here. Marissa, the answer is?
All right, I'm going to admit something to you guys. There is only one member of the show whose nose I've looked up, and it's because he's constantly pointing it out and seeking my approval. It's Preston.
All right.
There you go.
So, Casey, tell us the score, please.
All right. The final score is, I got to give him 1 and her 1. We have a 3-way tie.
Oh.
We have a 3-way tie between Preston Elliott, Steve Morrison, and Kathy.
Thought of something else I did one time, but immediately, here I am as an adult thinking I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. One time we were doing a promotion at the Granite Rim Mall with Y100, and we had we used to take a little putter and a putting green, and we would do a putting contest.
Yeah.
'Cause when you go to these promotions, you have a little game. People can play, come on, and when. So we're out there, and we're bored. Nobody's coming out there. And I decide to take the putter and take a full-on driver swing.
No, you didn't.
To the golf ball, or I was pretending to. I was going to swing over the ball, and of course I'm aiming right at the parking lot. And we were in. There was like a tent sale going out there, something. So there was a wide open area where nobody was parked, but about 50 yards away, there were cars. I swung at this thing. I hit the ball, and it goes over and thunk and hits the side of a car. Big, huge dent in the side of it. And I tell an intern, I go, go get the golf ball. Go get the golf ball right now. Go get it. So they ran and got the golf ball, and I go, put the whole golf ball thing away. Put the whole putting green thing away.
Appearance over. Appearance over.
Appearance over.
Yeah,
Appearance over. Yeah. Attention.
We've got our winner.
So put the golf ball away.
Appearance over.
And sure enough, like 10 minutes later, somebody comes walking out, and they look at the side of their car, and it's got a big dent in it, and I didn't fess up to it.
All right. How many years ago?
You're 15,
you're
16.
An adult man.
I know.
Wow.
Here I am.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
confessing it right now.
Now,
that was not cool.
Don't say. But do you remember what kind of car or what color it was or anything like that? Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But it was. I remember them looking down and them looking around, and here
People do that all the time.
Hands in my pocket.
Didn't we have a potato gun at one event? And we had it. It was like on a
almost killed
mortar,
people?
and we shot it into the parking lot. And didn't we hit a car?
Nope.
Maybe.
That never happened. Nope. I think that was another
If you
show. I
come
think
to
it was
any of our
Barsky.
events, park far away.
I regret it. I wouldn't mind making good on that.
Well, listen.
Not really.
What are you going to buy him a
should
new car
listen.
15 years later?
said, you son of a bitch. I spent years trying to figure out how that happened. I thought it was my fault.
Yeah, what would you guys say would be like a movie
Star
theme
Wars?
or score? Yes, Casey, it's number one.
Sorry. I didn't mean to-
no, it's all right.
No, you were asked.
That got 24% of the votes. Almost a quarter of people surveyed cited that as the most memorable.
What percentage are John Williams scores at the top?
Yeah, it's probably Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
We'll go off into a discussion, but I have bit my lip 3 times this morning while we've been. Casey bit his tongue earlier this morning.
So I had an article when you guys were talking about that. That I was going to send to you, and I couldn't. I have to try and get it again. It explains the mechanics of why that happens. Why you bite your lip and or tongue, most often in the same spot. Even though you become more aware of it, you still do it. I had one summer run where I literally, my mouth just hurt for like 2 weeks because I kept biting the same area.
Is there anything in this article how to fix the problem?
I was trying to get to the second page. It's one of these things. It was like a PDF file, and it was explaining the mechanics of it. I was trying to help. Instead, I hurt.
I want to hit myself when I do it because I'm mad at me for doing it.
I mean, when you bite your tongue, when you bite like Clace, the inside of your lip, with the same ferocity as if you were chewing into a steak, and that's your own flesh.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like I've been working with my mouth for many years
I've been
now.
good to me.
I know the layout of my mouth.
Yeah.
How am I so substantially missing the parameters of where my teeth hit?
Well, that's why I'm so mad about where I bit my tongue, because I bit the bottom of my tongue, which is like,
that's
how
a tough
the
one.
freak do you do that?
That's a tough one. Do you yodel a lot?
Well, no. No, not around this time of year.
Yeah.
So I think I'm lucky there. Preston, where on your lip did you bite? Oh,
Yeah, you can see it.
Lower lip right there.
Yeah.
Not a bad one. It wasn't one of those like Casey had this morning. But it
Can
was
you
enough
still
to go,
walk?
It was enough to go. I can still walk. it was enough to make me go, oh, come on, man. Because it causes more inflammation. It's going to get a little bit bigger, and it will protrude more, and I will bite it again.
Right. And then you'll get the flesh-eating disease, and your head will fall off.
Won't that be fun?
Yeah.
We'll keep you up to speed on that. All right, let's do the Bizarre File. Here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Somebody just texted in one of Casey's best Caseyisms was, doesn't everyone have a favorite chewing side?
Right?
Actually, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. The Bizarre File is brought to you by Squeezed.com, the best juice cleanse on the market.
Dude, do a Squeeze.com juice cleanse. You won't have to chew anything for a little while.
There you go. You can lose inches, drop pounds, feel great, sleep better, not bite your lip.
Yes.
Now free shipping code with radio at checkout. So a blood-soaked Pennywise-like horror clown has been spotted wielding a knife and lurking in a doorframe on a shocking Google Maps find.
Yeah,
So it's one of those things where you zoom in on a Google map and, oh my God, what is that? The freaky clown stands peering out of a door, splattered in blood at the entrance of a basement flat in Montreal, Canada. The prankster managed to perfectly time the photo to show a horrific scene of him brandishing a bloody knife just as the Google Maps camera van drove by.
Have you ever seen a Google Maps vehicle come by?
I've seen a lot of camera vehicles go by, yeah. Whether they planned it in order to bemuse future map sleuths or the van happened to pass the Quebec basement apartment just as a Halloween party was to begin as anyone's guess. Other ominous scenes immortalized on Google Maps included an apparent murder in Leith, Scotland. Back in 2014, the police were alerted after the Maps feature appeared to capture a murder. They followed it up and traced the so-called killer to a mechanic's car repair shop on the same street.
It's pretty wild.
It turns out that the scene was just a sick prank pulled by workers when they saw the camera car approaching. So it turned out to be not legit.
Remember that story you had about the Google satellite catching a car? They've been looking for people for years, and it was in a shallow pond.
Yeah.
They finally saw the car from the Google map picture.
Yep, it can happen. Okay, the body of a 43-year-old avid skier, this is a terrible story, who was reported missing Christmas evening, was just found on Saturday morning near a residential neighborhood more than 3 miles from the California resort he was riding that day that he went missing. Search and rescue teams discovered Rory Angelada's body about a half a mile from the Schaefer's Mill community. Like he was really close to getting back to,
civilization.
Habitats. Sheriff's office officials said that Angeletta may have been trying to reach safety in the neighborhood after he ended up out of bounds during one of the storms that struck the area in December. Apparently, it was the police said it was possible Angeletta was attempting to find the neighborhood when he succumbed to the elements. There was no indication of any suspicious or unusual activity. The exact cause of death will likely be determined by the county coroner. But it's terrible. He went missing, and they were looking for him, and the weather got too bad. And they, after a few days, and there were 7 feet of snow that fell.
Yeah.
While they were looking, an additional 7 feet, and they were like, he didn't make it.
It's always wise to go with someone else.
Terrible news. Well, throughout his 38 years, Shoji Morimoto had become accustomed to being told by family, classmates, and coworkers that he was a do-nothing. The kind of guy who stood back and let others take the initiative. So, after college and listlessly shuttling through one dispiriting job after another, he finally decided that if the shoe fit, why not wear it? So in 2018, unemployed, on a whim, the self-described slacker opened a Twitter account under the moniker of Do Nothing Rent-A-Man and began offering his companionship, but not a drop of sweat equity to the world. He said, I lend myself out to do nothing, which means that I don't make any special effort. I don't initiate conversation. I reply to chit-chat, but that is it.
So does he arrive at a scene and just sit there?
That's it.
Okay.
That's exactly it, and people are hiring him to do it.
Okay.
He has turned down he has turned down requests to help clean houses, be a friend, do laundry, make scintillating banter, visit a haunted house, and pose nude. But he has stood in the freezing cold to be an audience for a struggling street musician, accompanied the painfully self-conscious on outings to shops and restaurants, and even shared cake with a lonely soul on a birthday. He said, people use me in different ways. Some people are lonesome. Some feel it's a shame to go somewhere interesting alone. They want someone to share their impressions with.
So he's sort of a quasi-escort.
Yeah. On a recent weekday, he met a woman in her 30s, one of his regulars. After perfunctory greetings, they sat down to sip coffee in silence. That's it. The woman who requested
we could not talk about things for hours.
Anonymity said Mr. Rental offered a safe space with no judgment, no strings, and no talking.
Imagine if you got a bad review from him.
They said Japanese women tend to worry about what others think and about not burdening others, and it's exhausting. So being freed of this obsessing is valuable. He's followed by nearly 250,000 people online.
Jesus.
He trudges around town and often out of it, meeting with steady stream of clients. Rent-A-Man has struck a chord in this workaholic and conformist country. So he's actually starting to make a living.
Did they estimate what kind of money he's pulling in?
No mention of that in the article at all. So. A judge in Las Vegas denied the bail request for a man who was arrested after fleeing from a traffic stop in a vehicle containing the severed head and dismembered body parts of his friend. This is a follow-up story. The ruling came after the defendant's attorney argued that his client was nothing more than a hapless car thief who just picked the wrong car.
What are the odds, right?
Justice Harmony Letizia on Tuesday ordered ex-felon Eric Holland to remain in jail as he awaits another hearing while facing one count of open murder for allegedly killing 65-year-old Richard Miller. Holland's attorney attempted to convince Letizia that Holland had no idea what was in the car he allegedly stole when in the midst of fleeing from officers with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
Well, I'll be.
He said, in order to believe that he had knowledge of what was inside the vehicle, you would have to believe that he intentionally led the police to evidence. Why would he do that?
I mean, why? It's crazy.
But Letizia sided with
The kind
prosecutors.
of crazy you get from a guy who would decapitate someone.
They argued that the evidence revealed that Holland and Miller were friendly and that Holland purchased tools from a hardware store that were likely used to dismember Miller as well.
I'm friendly with a number of people. I don't know if I had to vivisect them.
All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file.
I think at one point, Preston, we did a topic of things that you see in movies that are really unrealistic.
Yes.
And one of them was to decapitate someone. That it's enormously challenging. So like in movies like Gladiator or Lord of the Rings or even Braveheart or whatever, where you see a guy swing a sword and chop somebody else's head off in one fell swoop, that's not possible.
You got to work it a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of all the bone and the muscle and everything like that.
a lightsaber.
You can, like a practiced swordsman could do it.
You think so with one swing?
Well, it would have to be a real super duper heavy blade and a really strong person because, listen, man, the guillotine sometimes would stop halfway through people's necks.
Raise it up again.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry.
So I'd say more than likely you're not going to get through it unless you have an axe.
Okay.
And somebody's head on a on a chopping block or something like that.
Like somebody actually coming to behead someone.
Right.
There are services.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Anyhow, so yeah, this guy's
Decap Dash is one
he'll
of them.
have his day in court. All right, and there you go.
OJ knew how to do it.
Your bizarre file. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. We'll see if you've been paying attention because we'll have a question about today's program in form of the lesson question. Trash and music news coming up too. Stay down. Or staying alive, I guess.
Stay alive.
You know what that needed?
Yes. And you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man.
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing.
13%.
But that's not a theme song. It's not like when the movie started, it was like, no, I had no. Like that's
We're dirty dancing, dirty dancing.
By the way, I saw
He's right
that.
though. There's no dirty dancing theme.
No.
There are songs within Dirty Dancing that are songs.
By the way, I saw on a commercial the other day for some food product, they used Hungry Eyes from that soundtrack as well.
Yes.
Hungry Eyes.
What's that other? She's like the wind.
Hungry Eyes.
I mean, my favorite song from that movie is this one.
I love this.
Who's this hula hana of come on, I wanna hula back.
What were the hits from the soundtrack? You had that. You had the
You had Hungry Eyes, you had Time in My Life. Those were the two biggies.
right,
And
and then
was,
She's Like the Wind.
She's Like the Wind was in that as well.
And that's Patrick Swayze singing that,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They had so many hits that were already songs. And it was such a popular album that they made two of them.
What was the one? Hey, lover boy. Remember when they were
How do you call your lover boy?
lip syncing that one?
I simply say.
What was that?
I simply say, baby.
Oh, yeah.
My sweet baby.
Here you go. We have the list.
Do you remember the Dirty Dancing tour that happened?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Be My Baby, Hungry Eyes, Stay. Oh, from the Zodiacs. Oh.
Is that?
Oh, won't you stay? Jesus Christ. And then it says yes. There were more songs in this.
What's yes? Wait, what's yes?
I don't know. but it was by Mary Clayton. So
I was in 7th grade when that movie came out, and I remember kids on the bus listening to that record because it was so popular, and it was such a resurgence for that type of music, for that style of music, and for that age of music.
Well, really,
that they put out a second record.
The Big Chill was, I think
similar
2 years prior to that, and that, I mean, that was an entire summer that I lived off of that soundtrack.
So we're looking at the track listing here for Dirty Dancing. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Was that it?
No.
Different one?
I wanna know
if you feel
Overload. Don't know that one. Off the title. I'm sure we know every single one of these songs. Love is Strange. I think that's the one, Kathy. Hey, lover boy.
Okay.
Why don't you come over here, little...
Hey, boy. My name is Man-Thing. Why don't you come over here and let's dance? Baby. I'm dirty dancing all over your face.
Just try not to move.
Don't move. This hurts.
Now do the lift.
We're filthy dancing. I'll lift you up.
Remember that remake?
A day after the season 13 finale of America's Got Talent, finalist Michael Ketterer was arrested for domestic violence.
Whoa.
Well, it shows the system works because he only came in 5th place.
Well, what did he do? Was he a singer or what?
He packed luggage.
No, I don't know. Michael Ketterer is his name, and I don't know what he did. We're looking at a picture of him with his arms open at a microphone, so that leads to believe that he may
did a
have
John
been
McCain impression.
A singer and impersonated John McCain. So those are the two things you can clearly get from this photograph here.
He's going to be playing a Vegas casino.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
He just does John McCain and that's it?
Yeah.
What would it be like if John McCain sang the songbook of Air Supply?
A loving tribute to
one of our nation's heroes and the kings of soft rock.
I don't even have any Air Supply.
One of our nation's heroes. You probably do on
so
here.
lost without you.
I'm sorry.
I knew you were right for leaving me so long.
Very specific talent.
It was the greatest John McCain Air Supply show I've ever seen.
And I'm bringing back my whole family. It's patriotic and it's romantic.
All right. So anyhow, I guess he was a singer and a John McCain impersonator. This is a student pilot.
Yes.
And I have not heard this yet.
Student pilot is soloing for the first time. So they've got their lessons, and now they're going to take it up and fly it by themselves.
Yeah, so she spent many hours training.
Yes.
And ready for her solo flight. And
upon takeoff, she's in flight, and they notice one of her wheels, its fixed wheels, has fallen off.
Okay.
The aircraft.
We have the audio of this, and I haven't heard it yet.
Maggie, this is John. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay, you're doing a great job flying the airplane. Keep doing what you're doing. We got plenty of time. You got plenty of fuel. We got plenty of daylight. So just try to relax. And you always heard me say go back to basics. So we're going to work the basics here as much as possible, okay? Keep everything as normal as you can.
All right.
Okay. Oh, my God. I'm choked up listening to this.
Seriously, I'm tearing up.
He's a calming voice, though. That's somebody I would want to speak to on the other end.
Beautiful job, Maggie. You got a whole bunch of people clapping for you up here.
She landed.
Great work. Thank you.
Good job, Maggie. Excellent job.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. I was nervous. Listen, I love flying in those small aircraft. It's really exciting.
It's awesome.
There's no way. And I have flown one. I told you my wife's uncle let me fly over Sweden, and I held the, I took control of the plane for at least an hour by myself. He was right next to me and had controls as well. But the idea of landing or taking off or anything like that, no.
Here's what I would do, okay? What you did, I would have the Fisher-priced wheel.
Oh, just to pretend?
Sit there like Maggie does with the dry. And that's how I do it.
Oh, after I rode on the Avatar ride down in Disney World last year.
They gave you a pilot's license?
You became a pilot?
No, but
He's
you
an
fly.
astronaut now.
All right, do me a favor. All right, I want you to calm down. It's like we've done many times on Pandora. All right? What's your name? Casey. Casey, okay. We're going to fly right by. You're going to see a whole bunch of floating boulders. You've seen it many times before. All right? All right? Is your ponytail attached to your bird of prey? It is? Okay.
We're going through the flying boulder field.
That's all it is. We're just floating boulders.
But after riding that ride.
Viewers of the American reality series The Bachelor are often told to buckle up for the most dramatic rose ceremony ever.
I love you.
But now the show's Vietnamese version has actually delivered on this. And I watched it.
Yeah?
And so it's the same. It's with this corny music. It's the whole, I mean, the difference is they're just speaking a different language.
Chitingpa.
But is that I love you?
Chitingpa. I don't know what I love you is in Vietnamese.
No, but I like the delivery.
Chitingpa.
So in this clip that has gone viral now, a contestant vying for the heart of Bachelor, his name is Nguyen Quoc Trung.
I am Bachelor.
Shocks viewers when she confesses her love for another contestant.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
She's a lesbian.
So that's never happened before. So you've had, a girl fall in love with another contestant,
Sexy.
as opposed to the Bachelor. So
it's okay.
She tells.
It's all right.
She tells Trung in a video, "I went into this competition to find love." Her name is Min Thu. And she tearfully tells him, "But I've found love for myself, but it isn't you, it's someone else." Thu then walks over to contestant Truck Yu. Take a seat. Tracy Morgan on stage Saturday, July 16th at Ovation Hall at the Ocean Casino Resort. And the question that we posed to you this morning is, the loons from on Golden Pond were driving Norman so crazy that he wanted to smash his head with what item? 215-263-WMMR, okay? The loons from on Golden Pond were driving Norman so crazy he wanted to smash his head with what item? All right, 215-263-WMMR. Give us a call. We'll do the trash while you call in.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, let's get them stories this morning. Steve, what's going on?
Well, a new report claims that Demi Lovato quietly completed another stint in rehab, saying she made a mistake being California sober, which allows smoking pot instead of drinking. Lovato says she will, however, remain California celibate, which is having unprotected sex with Charlie Sheen. Steph Curry's wife, Aisha Curry, attempting to put an end to rumors that they are in an open marriage. Aisha says she is 100% faithful to Steph, while Steph says he is still crunching the numbers.
Oh, my God.
And finally, the self-proclaimed BT killer, a.k.a. Dennis Rader, who murdered 10 people, now saying he is actually a good person who did some bad things. Rader says people need to keep an open mind and at least one open point of entry.
Yeah.
And that's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we'll give some away if we can get a correct answer. The loons from on Golden Pond were driving Norman so crazy he wanted to smash his head with what item? 215-263-WMMR, our number. And we'll go to Mike, our first caller in. Mike, good morning.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, Mike. All right, so what did Norman want to smash his head in with?
I think he wants to do it with a crock pot.
Crock pot. Well done, Mike. Hang on. You just got yourself a pair of tickets to see Tracy Morgan live on stage Saturday, July 16th at 8 p.m. at Ovation Hall in the Ocean Casino Resort. And tickets are on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. via theoceanac.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
I just have 3 items for you today, and that's it. Corey Taylor has confirmed a new Slipknot album is coming out this year. He tweeted this past weekend, "Big S coming, 2022 edition." ZVN updates, SK album, secret homecoming plans, etc. Stay tuned. Hold on to your butts. And then he added the quote was from Franklin D. Roosevelt.
And he used the S word and butts.
In addition to the upcoming Slipknot album, ZVN Updates is referring to Taylor's feature film called Zombie vs. Ninja, which he wrote the script for.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
I like both zombies and ninjas, or nombies and zinjas.
Those are good. Judas Priest revealed that they'll be hitting the road as a four-piece this time out. The band's touring guitarist and co-producer Andy Sneap will sit things out to focus on studio work. Guitarist Glenn Tipton, who's retired from the road due to his battle with Parkinson's disease, will make periodic appearances with the band. The upcoming dates mark the first time that the band has toured as a quartet since 1974.
It's sad if you're part of a band and Parkinson's starts to do its deal.
Amazingly, guitarist Richie Faulkner, who suffered an acute cardiac aortic dissection while playing on stage last year during Kentucky's Louder Than Life Festival, is back in top shape, on set to be on board when Priest launches its North American track in Peoria, Illinois in March.
Wow.
So it's
pretty amazing.
Back at it, yeah.
Yo, ever heard of Jerkmate?
Sorry, I forgot to turn my laptop down. And finally, nearly a half hour of unseen 8mm footage of the Rolling Stones, Flying Burrito Brothers, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and other artists performing at Altamont has been recovered by the Library of Congress and published on its website thanks to an unlikely find among 200,000 reels of film.
Oh my God, I'd like to see that.
That were acquired 20 years ago.
Obviously, this is just footage. There's no sound.
That's the thing. The footage is silent, and it is on the crude side by contemporary standards and does not appear to have been shot by the documentary crew shooting the footage that ended up becoming the film Gimme Shelter. The portions that include the Stones' nighttime performance are nearly too murky to make out, and there's nothing in it related to the stabbing death of an audience member during that set that made Altamont go down in history.
Well, that could have gone better.
Nonetheless, the daytime parts of the, quote, home movie will be fascinating to aficionados of late 60s rock, offering close-up shots of some of the legends of that era from a position on or close to the stage, including glimpses of many artists that were never seen in Gimme Shelter, caught in performance also, or just casually hanging out behind the stage. So they've located some of that stuff. All right, that's it. It's kind of a short.
That's damn good,
today.
man.
Thanks, man. All right, we'll take a break, come back, and when we return, we'll get your letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize. We'll see what Pierre's got cooking, and then we'll move out of the way. We'll be right back. Del Toyota, man. No, not Truck You. Truck.
Tomorrow night on the Vietnamese Bachelor, Truck You.
No, Truck You.
Jack, sell him for less.
Jack, sell him for less.
I love you. I'm not the Jack.
Truck You.
Okay.
Who is holding a rose from Trung. And Thu asks New, come home
What you
with
gonna
me.
do?
She says, come home with me, yeah? New then heads back to stand before Trunk. She says, I'm sorry. I really want to get to know you because you're someone who made me feel special, and I haven't felt that way in a long time.
I tell you what, the bachelorettes on this show are
they're gorgeous.
Quite stunning.
Yeah, the Bachelor weighs in asking you, if you decide this, would you feel regretful? This doesn't change my decision, he tells her.
Are you going to sell them for less?
I'm not going to give this rose to anyone else. Truck.
Sell him for less.
Where's that voice coming from?
You only get one chance in this life, and you need to take it. Only you.
Who's Jack?
Not anyone else. I want to let you know that I think you'll have regret if you continue with what you're about to say.
Wow.
So the show's host chimes in, telling Truck New.
Sell them for less.
Jack,
No.
sell him for less.
Says you have a connection with Trung that made him choose you. You should give yourself a chance. Don't pass it up. But New seems to have made up her mind and gives him back the rose. She said, I know you'll find somebody who really loves you, who understands you, who knows how to take care of you, who can look at you from afar and know how you're feeling. I'm sorry. And then the two women left together. But that's not how it ended.
Oh, really?
What happened?
Truck New decided to return after...
I can never sell them flesh. My heart is broken, and I have no inventory at this time.
You know what else I noticed?
Ooh.
I noticed.
Just notice more things.
I noticed that
Not just product renaming.
the Cold War
The Cold War. CW.
could have been a world war.
TCW.
But a cache of Soviet jokes that was compiled by CIA agents during the Cold War has been released among a cache of declassified documents.
Soviet jokes designed for what purpose?
It's hard to say because they mainly make fun of the Soviet Union. So all the jokes were told between Soviets but picked up by CIA operatives before being relayed back to Washington. So
do we believe that perhaps it were American operatives and spies to be armed with these jokes? It might be a way of sort of ingratiating themselves to, in other words, if you could tell a funny Soviet joke to another person.
They're not clear on what the purpose
or was
of this
it
was.
for their
I think it was just them.
Soviet review.
It was just part of the gigantic lists of stuff that they have at the CIA.
There's a lot of Yakov Smirnoff stuff here, right?
The list was addressed to the deputy director of the CIA, but is believed to have been circulated among senior White House officials. One joke featuring Ronald Reagan made it to the president's desk, and he found it so funny that he began to use it himself.
That's the goddamn funniest thing I've ever heard.
So here, you want to hear the joke?
Please tell me. Tell me, Mommy.
An American tells a Russian that the United States is so free that he can stand in front of the White House and yell, "To hell with Ronald Reagan." And the Russian replies, "That's nothing. I can stand in front of the Kremlin and yell, 'To hell with Ronald Reagan,' too."
I don't get it.
Oh, yeah!
Did you say penis? I must have missed it.
No.
You said it was a dirty joke.
No, I didn't say it was a dirty joke.
Oh, yes, you did. What?
No, I didn't say it was a dirty joke.
You said it was filthy.
I think the Alzheimer's is kicking in, Ronnie.
God damn it.
Yep.
Where are my jelly beans?
It is not known exactly why the CIA began doing this.
It wasn't filthy.
Though since there were no polls in Soviet Russia, it could have been a good way for agents to judge public mood towards politicians and the government.
Why did chicken cross road?
Why?
To escape the extreme starvation caused by Stalin.
One particular figure of fun was Mikhail Gorbachev.
Why do I have stain on head?
The last leader of the Soviet Union who worked to end the Cold War by reforming the USSR. While this made him popular overseas, he was often reviled at home, as revealed by this joke, which tells of a man waiting in line at a liquor store.
Tell the joke.
A worker standing at a liquor store line says, I have had enough. Save my place. I'm going to go shoot Gorbachev. 2 hours later, he returns to claim his place in line, and his friends asked, "Did you get him?" He said, "No, the line there was even longer than the line here."
That is a good one. It's very funny.
Another joke compares Gorbachev to...
You know, maybe you don't laugh at the same kind of jokes or something, but... you told me that Gorbachev line joke and it wasn't funny. But I have one for you. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Banana.
I don't think you told that correctly.
Shut up.
Banana. So Stalin.
I'm going home.
Stalin was also.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Stay in your seats or you'll all be shot. It's funny, yes? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
You will starve in gulag.
I'm here all the week.
I would say try veal, but there is no veal. Try cannibalism as we starve out all of the population in Siberia because of extreme poverty caused by Stalin. Thanks for coming. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
They murdered my wife.
That's enough. That's sad.
Yeah, but if you think about it, she was nagging.
It's a way homer.
Have you heard the banana joke?
Heard funny joke from Rocky. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Banana.
Oh, God. Oh. Well, these are CIA files.
Hey, I am having literally to hold stomach from pain of laughing.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I noticed that, and I figured we might have
Notice the Soviet humor.
Para-Olympian Danielle Umstead.
She's blind, right?
I don't know.
I believe she's a blind skier, Preston.
No, that's impossible.
That's what they said.
Shut up.
Check it out.
Okay,
Nick.
you got to look this up. Danielle, spelled Danelle, Umstead.
And I think, unless I miss my guess, she has no torso.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be it.
Just her head.
Everything
on
is
her
connected
hips?
with pipe cleaners.
A blind skier?
Is that what it says? Am I right?
Well, I don't know. Nick's looking it up. I'm just curious. Is there a Wikipedia page?
Oh, she's a deaf gurner.
She makes the ugly faces, but can't hear anybody laughing. Oh, that's sad.
It's wrong.
Let's see what it says here. She is a skier and visually impaired.
Visually impaired.
She's full-blown blind.
Is she full-blown blind?
Well, I saw her, and on a small pair of skis next to her was a dog.
Oh. Left. Right. Left. 2 barks for left, 1 for right. Yeah.
That's not fair to the dog.
That is not fair to the dog.
No.
Right. And
I mean, he's got to bark fast. And you never know if they're right next to each other.
He also can't really tell you that he doesn't want to do this.
No, he's actually just being dragged along.
Just put him on skis.
I don't want to do this.
did we even say the words skiing?
Nick just said
you
it.
did. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I missed. They may not be married, but Jennifer Gardner and Ben Affleck are still family, according to Ben's brother Casey. During an interview with E.T. on Saturday.
Well, you still family?
No, entertainment television.
Do you all get together for the holidays?
What am I talking? What am I talking to here?
I'm E.T.
He walks in. He's like, "Are you serious? I have to do this."
Pulling himself up in the chair.
Thanks for talking with me.
Could you get my agent in here, please?
I'm talking to a turtle.
Yeah.
Not a turtle.
Turtle.
Oh my God.
I want a goddamn Oscar.
It was during an interview with E.T.'s Kelty Knight.
Oh, okay.
Whoever that is. I left that part out and I just said E.T., all right? So it was at the Are you still family?
How much longer is he going to be in rehab?
He's holding up his finger. Oh, my God.
E.T. could probably fix his addiction problem with his magic finger.
You're right.
His heart.
Touch his heart.
Heart light.
Whole new human being.
New Ben, new Batman movie.
All right, 10:35 as we're wrapping today's program, and a thank you to our guests. We did a out of the ordinary Tuesday appearance on Fox Good Day today. They wanted to talk a little bit about Bob Saget and his relationship with the show. So it was it was a nice conversation, and we had another conversation about Bob Saget, among other things, with our good friend Mark Summers, who was on too.
Yes,
Mark's a great guy, just kind of hanging out. Retired and just doing what he wants to.
Redefining radio as we know it.
That too, sort of, to where it gets him fired. But it was cool to have him on. And the very, very funny Whitney Cummings was on as well. And Whitney is going to be coming to the area February at Bethlehem, and she's also going to be appearing in Wilmington, you said.
Yeah,
Casey,
she'll be
right?
at the Queen in Wilmington a week before the Bethlehem show.
And then she'll be back in the Philly area at the Miriam Theater on April 30th, and maybe by then we could have her by the studio, which
that'd be great.
We'll see about that. I would like to give away our tattoo from Floating World. Tattoo and piercing. Our random winner is Mike Kleben, who is from Doylestown. Mike, you got yourself a very cool prize, $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. Tattoo Tuesday on the Preston and Steve Show is presented by Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. They're at 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. For artwork samples, you can visit floatingworldtattoos.com or check them out on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos. So setting them up. That's what we're doing. All right. Our letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize is about to hit you right now.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right. And the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
A, as in Admiral Akbar.
All right, and we will give away the Book of Boba Fett Super Prize Pack, including a 65-inch LED smart TV, 1-year subscription to Disney Plus, a Boba Fett Starship die-cast vehicle, Boba Fett talking action figure, and a Boba Fett voice-changing mask. It's from Lucasfilm and Disney Plus, presenting the new original series, The Book of Boba Fett. And you can follow the legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shand as they navigate the galaxy's underworld and return to the sands of Tatooine. Now streaming, and that is only on Disney Plus. We'll give that away on Friday. You are 2 letters in so far, so 3 to go. Let me take a moment to thank our sponsors. President Steve Show has been brought to you today by... Why is my music not playing? Hang on. There we go.
What's wrong?
It has been brought to you today by Dunkin', the official coffee of the Preston and Steve Show. Also brought to you by Acme. You can download the Acme app to see your all-new deals, rewards, and perks today. Visit acmemarkets.com for details. Also, Jurassic Quest coming to Philadelphia January 15th to the 23rd, and you can get tickets at JurassicQuest.com. Tomorrow on our program, we're going to have Howie Long's son, Chris Long.
Yes.
On the program, former Eagles defensive lineman. And I'm sure we'll get some other things together between now and then as well. So stay warm on this very chilly day. Mr. Pierre Robert is going to warm the cockles of your heart and more.
I love my cockles warm.
I know you do.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So make sure you stick with him. That is it. We are done. Rage on. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, gang. Bye-bye.